Hey guys, it's J19 brought to you another video, and today is a very special podcast. It's my first time ever doing a Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth podcast, or FF7 Rebirth podcast. I plan on doing these every time we get massive announcements, trailers, interviews, you name it. I'll try to have some special guests on here, but I was gonna have 2 or 3 extra guests, but because of time zones, I got a friend of mine here. First time we've spoken voice to voice, so this is gonna be fun. So yeah, we're gonna go through everything we saw from TGS, the state of play, the trailers, the breakdowns, all of that, and give our little thoughts like how we got started in Final Fantasy 7 and why we following the FF7R trilogy. So I'm your host J19. I hope you guys really appreciate this, as I'm trying to get this up best I can, and I'm a little nervous, but hey, we're gonna roll with it. So anyways, I got a special guest here. I'm gonna let him introduce himself, and we will get started. So yeah.
All right, well, thanks for having me. I'm Mattman version 2, formerly version 1. That was my old Twitter account. This is my new one, but I've had this one since 2013. I'm happy to be here talking about Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth. This is like the game of a lifetime. I mean, the hype build up for it has been impossible to even explain. Like, there was points of which that, we didn't even know it was going to ever exist. So
right,
very exciting.
But
very exciting.
I still remember the first time I didn't watch the event live back in 2015, but I heard snippets about it. I was on YouTube and I saw somebody react to them like, really?
Yeah,
FF7 remake?
Yeah, it was right before that presentation where I took a peek at Twitter, and there was like a last minute rumor that, oh, they're gonna show Final Fantasy 7 remake, and I'm just like,
oh yeah,
I'm like, yeah, right. good
right.
job.
You guys are a bunch of balonies. You guys don't know what you're talking about.
This is just artificial hype.
It's funny, like the gaming media outlets knew that it's gonna be shown, but it acted as surprise, right?
Right.
It's like I remember they're easy allies now, but they had a different group name back then, and you can tell on their faces that they were shocked. They were still surprised it happened, but you can tell that they knew it was going to be there.
Oh yeah, you had I'm sure everyone's familiar with Kyle Bosman. He had his feet directly on the chair, like crunched up.
Yeah.
Like he was about to jump off in excitement, like that. He was so excited.
Yeah, it was so funny.
It was back in the game trailers days, I think. The game trailers.
Oh yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah.
Like even like people don't realize this. Probably now they do, but if people like don't understand the direction of the game, like go back and rewatch that trailer of 2015 E3. The narrator of that trailer tells us exactly how we're gonna feel about this whole trilogy, what kind of feelings we're gonna have, what kind of direction the story's gonna go, and it even teases some stuff like Sephiroth's black feather alongside Aerith's flower, like in a puddle.
Oh yeah.
Like it's like it's very ominous. It's like holy crap.
It was very brilliantly crafted too. I mean,
it
was like a shared. It was a shared, like, almost fear from both them and the audience, but they wanted us to like trust in them that they were gonna, deliver.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so that's our first taste of FF7R. We're not here for remake. We're here for rebirth. Remake blew our minds. Like, it blew my mind. I was like, just nostalgia trip and a half. I was just like, holy crap.
Yeah, like to this day, I almost daily, I'm just like, I can't even believe this game is real, even.
Right.
Like, I wake up and I'm like, oh, yep, this is this. I don't know how, but they did it. I mean, not only is it a miracle that they actually like developed it and put it out, like shipped it.
Yeah.
But it's also a miracle that it is as good as it is. Like, it is.
I know.
Mean, it just blew away my expectations.
It's crazy. Like, even like, just like, spoilers, if you guys are here for Rebirth podcast, you guys probably know about remake, you probably know the ending, but when we got to Sephiroth, I lost my mind. It's like, let's effing go. This is epic as F. Let's go.
Oh yeah.
I can't believe fighting
mean,
Sephiroth. Like the theme starts and he has his one wing coming out. It's like, oh man, it's so like Advent Children and a half. It's like, this is great.
Oh yeah. I was at that point. I was like, man, they're gonna like quote unquote like blow their wad on this like right now. Like this is serious. Like holy, they're not even gonna wait until the third game to do this. Like this is insane.
Yeah, this is like it takes. Oh.
It's so crazy. I mean, even back then, we didn't know how many parts it was going to be.
Right, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's oh my gosh.
It's
a miracle game.
I kind of had a feeling it's going to be like 3 parts, but my mind was thinking maybe they'll push it like 4 or 5 parts. I'm like, they can't really treat this as a dot hack series because this game is like way different than dot hack.
Yeah, but I mean it's super connected and everything.
I warned people back in 2019 when it was just about ready to get we just got the E3 announcement. We got the big, 20-minute showcase of remake. I told people, it's like, I guarantee this, part 2, whatever you're gonna call part 2, it's gonna be a PS5 only title. And people said, "You're nuts, dude. Why would they make part 2 PS5 only?" It's like, well, they want to expand upon what they've done in remake to make it better. You can't keep it on PS4 forever. So I was right.
Yeah,
I was right. But.
Yep. I was sort of on the fence too. I was like, well, best case scenario, they'll do the main version of the game on PS5 and then port it. But yeah, I'm happy I got a PS5 day one, and I literally, I mean, well, I bought it for Final Fantasy 16.
Yeah, same here. That's the game. That's the game that got me to get a PS5. That review trailer. First off, I was like, "This is FF16. I gotta get a PS5." But of course, Walmart screwed it up.
Yep. So
yeah, they started a whole pre-order debacle. But you know what's really funny? December 15th, I got my PS5 through Walmart.
Nice.
So I was like, "Yeah, hey, you guys started a mess, but thank you for the PS5." So.
Right. I mean, you made it just by the year's end.
I did, and the problem was I was so excited for it. I got all hooked up. I was gonna play Astro's Playroom. I was gonna play the crap out of it. I was sick for 3 weeks.
So
it's like, here's your gift, but you're gonna be sick for 3 weeks. That was bad. Like it was a bad flu or something. It might have been early stages of COVID before COVID hit in the United States. Real hard.
Yeah, I'm thinking I got that too. Like I think I got it in 2019 actually.
Yeah, so it's like
I'm thinking it was here way before it was reported. So because I remember like in October 2019 I got laid on my butt pretty bad.
Oh yeah. So last year we'll get into Rebirth shortly. Just last year, like with everything going on, I had like COVID, I had like pancreatitis, so like my body's like all messed up where I get like real bad side pain. My stomach, I'll have upset stomach for a while. So it's like dealing with that, dealing with like the loss of my two loved ones. Like I'm ready to like 2023 hit pretty good.
We just want, it's been a rough couple 3 years, 2-3 years, and but just like but this, I say this every day. It's like this timeline brought us to these games. So it's like
right. It's crazy. Like 2023 is loaded with so many good games. Like I couldn't buy them all, and like I didn't want to buy the 12 games I bought, but GameStop had like a deal for like really old games, and a lot of them probably. There's a couple online games that are probably still kind of active, kind of not. I bought them because I might want to try them out, but 12 games for like $88. Like can't beat it.
No, that's pretty good.
So it's like might as well get them, take a deal. I got the collector's editions, FF7 Rebirth. I got Spider-Man 2 all covered. Like I got a bunch of games, and I got a whole bunch of backlog. So
yeah, you're good to go. I got the deluxe one, so I'm happy with that.
Yeah. So the FF7 Rebirth out in 155 days from now. I got plenty of games that keep me busy. So
yeah, for sure. Me too.
So yeah, speaking of Rebirth, we got the I've been covering it on my channel for a while. Like I said, we got the state of play rumored. Square Enix is kind of saying some things. PlayStation Germany account is like posting, hey, you might want to wish list like FF7 Rebirth, like with the hand emoji pointing to the left, pointing to the right with the eyeballs. Everybody saw that. And it's like, something's starting to add up. And sure enough, we got the state of play trailer like I predicted. But I was not expecting them. Okay, they'll have statements from the developers, like updates. They'll have like interviews or something.
Yeah, those little posts that they do with like from the director, producer.
That was amazing.
Like, okay, they're gonna.
But holy crap, that trailer was so juicy. I'm like, this is it. They blew their load for leading up to TGS. They might have something at TGS, like maybe just like they'll talk about the game, maybe go over some things on a screen.
Right.
But like that trailer, like, yeah, they blew their load. They're just gonna go back, work very hard on this game. We'll see more of it later, like at the Game Awards or something. Like
even at TGS, I was expecting them. I wasn't even expecting them to even have playable demos on the show floor for anyone. I thought they were just going to do like just that stage show, which they did do too. But because similar to 2019, they did show like the sewer fight with Alps.
Yeah, right.
For remake, so I was like, oh, they're gonna do something similar to that.
Yeah,
so like,
I figure it's gonna be one fight. They'll have like a mini game that Katase or somebody will try out. But like just the trailer itself, and just like before we get to TGS, we're gonna go in order here. That trailer showed off a lot. Like Square's been hearing a lot of like murmuring, a lot of people complaining. It's like, oh, we didn't see Ghost Oster, we didn't see Vincent, we didn't see this, we didn't see that. And Square's like, okay, hold my Buster Sword. We're gonna drop a 3-minute banger.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. They. I had no doubt in my mind that they were gonna show the correct amount of footage just to get us more excited. I mean.
Oh yeah.
After remake, I have full faith that the rest of the trilogy is just gonna be top notch. I mean.
Oh yeah, and I expect Rebirth to be like the meat and potatoes. It's gonna be like the section that everybody loves of FF7 because after the Forgotten Capital, after the death, spoilers guys, 3, 2, 1, Aerith dies. After Aerith dies, it's like you go snowboarding, you go to Northern Crater, the Whirlwind Maze, you have a whole bunch of like story thrown at you. Then you say, holy cow, the world's ending, everybody's disappearing, Cloud and Tifa and Barrett's about to be executed. Then it's like, it feels like it's kind of, then the game kind of rushes you through the big story elements, like the huge materia and stuff like that. So everybody likes that part, but like the middle ground, after you leave Midgar, all the way until the Forgotten Capital, that is like the meat and potatoes everybody remembers from the original
that's
game.
like that's the biggest chunk of the game. And I was actually shocked that they revealed that this one goes up to the Forgotten City, because that's a lot. That is a lot.
It is like everybody figures this. Everybody goes, well, the best place to end is right after you get to Nibelheim. You run into Sephiroth, right? So everybody goes, something major is gonna go happen there. Then you save Sid and them. You save Sid for like the third game, right? Because you get Vincent barely into Nibelheim. He becomes Red 13 for the final chapter.
Right.
And that makes a lot of sense, but now I'm thinking about it, like ending it at the Forgotten Capital, that still leaves a lot of content for part 3, so it makes a lot of sense.
And not only for story purposes that it's great that it ends there. Yeah. But for like final boss of Rebirth potential. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like that's 3, 2, 1, Genova. There's a version of Genova that's there.
I'm trying to think what they can do for a final boss, because there's a lot of people said, you know what, it's like you can't fight Sephiroth all 3 times. Like it'll get boring in a hurry.
Right. They'll have to, I don't know. They'll have to spruce up maybe that Genova fight, or have something crazy happen that you do something
major is gonna happen. Like why? It's like nobody in their right mind, no developer out there. I don't even think Sony's developers or any third party, second party, first party of any company, I have never heard them do a marketing with like, it ends at this spot. Ends right here.
Right.
If you guys know the original game, it ends right here. Like, no developer has done that before. So they're telling us that for a reason.
Oh, yeah.
They're teasing Aerith's death, but something else is going to happen there. not just heard
Yeah,
that.
they specifically want original fans like us to pay attention to the fact that it ends at that point.
Right, and it's like new players
because
bring the tissues. Get ready.
yeah, yeah, I definitely my body's not ready for sure. I can't. I don't even want to think about it right now. But
Right.
yeah, it's so nuts. I mean, and you know we'll go into it later, but like they said, the world map is like all seamlessly connected. Like you can go back at any time at like certain points.
Let's
like it's just
we'll talk about that probably the second half. The second half we'll talk about like the TGS stuff. Let's focus on the trailer. The first time I saw that trailer, I knew it happened because I couldn't watch State of Play live, so I kind of okay. I know FF7 Rebirth is there, but I didn't expect it to save it at the end. Like I didn't expect that, and they did. And so I watched the whole State of Play. It was fun. I enjoyed it. You know, Spider-Man 2 and all that good stuff. Like even Foam Stars looked kind of fun.
Foam Stars looks fun. Yeah, it was a pretty solid one. I mean, this game saved it for me, but it was a pretty solid one. It was you know, but there's always mixed reactions to a.
And we get like, you can tell they hard edit the end because the woman goes, "Yeah, join us for the open beta, you know, world beta. Like, join us live for that. Like, we can't wait to play with you guys." And then like it did like a really super hard cut, and everybody's talking about that, and I kind of agreed that Sony was gonna end. They was possibly gonna end it with Foam Stars, but Square contacted Sony, or Sony contacted them, and said, "Hey, you guys got anything ready? Because your game's coming out in like 5-6 months." I'm sure Sony's keeping an eye out on like the release windows and release date of upcoming PS5 games.
Right, and
they edited that in. They hard edited in the Rebirth trailer, and what a Rebirth trailer that was! Like you can say, "Oh, the world's ending." We see that extra shot of of the first gameplay footage of like the team's dead, they're on stretchers, and Elmira's like, "Yeah, the world's ending." Like it's the end.
You hear Aerith say like, "I don't like the look of the sky."
Yeah, I miss the sky. I don't like it. She misses the steel sky, and like
it shows Zack with
Cloud. Like that's like the first image, the second image you see,
and he's like looking toward like kind of like the ruins of I think that's like Sector 5.
Yeah,
Sector 7.
If you look real carefully too, if you look up towards the sky, there's a rift.
Ah, okay.
There's a rift, and the PlayStation, was it the PlayStation blog or one of the interviews they stated that. Oh, it's one of the story. It's like a big paragraphs of like story beats. They talked about the ending of remake and going into Rebirth, and they said they actually come out and said, "I'm so glad Square's not hiding it anymore." They say, "Look, Zack's alive. Deal with it."
Yeah. He's like in the forefront of like being featured in these trailers. Like they're reminding people like we're doing something different here.
And he's on the box. He's on the box art. So it's like, And Square has repeated. They said the main characters of FF7. Yes, we did make it just Cloud and Sephiroth, but he said Zack is now part of that main group.
Yeah.
And he's gonna play a key role in Rebirth. So it's like, keep an eye out.
Oh yeah. I'm actually watching the trailer now. In the background.
Yeah, I watched that trailer so many times. Like all the trailers I watched. They're setting things up, and there's another thing that people don't really talk about a whole lot. Like, I wonder if we're gonna see that white feather again, not just in that one shot of the first review trailer. I wonder if we're actually gonna see something behind that. That's Angeo's feather.
It is. Yeah, there's something going on with that.
Yeah.
It directly ties into what happened at like the very, very end of Crisis Core. I mean, there's some
hidden, not hidden. There's some big big nods, like they're nudging and say, "Yeah, pay attention to that feather." Like that's flying right in front of your face of the trailer. Like,
oh yeah,
that's forefront. Not Zack and Cloud. That's like, pay attention to the feather. Damn it.
Right. Oh yeah.
But yeah, like
Oh,
the
this shot
trailer,
of
like
Junon.
then they go on to Junon. Junon looks fan-freaking-tastic. It looks way better than Crisis Core Reunion. Like, when I played Crisis Core Reunion, I saw like the three locations. I really was mind blown. I was like, they actually almost took that right straight out of Rebirth. I bet. Kinda. But Junon looks way better than Rebirth. Like, holy crap! Like,
yeah, it looks perfect. I mean, you got Rufus there, kind of showing his dominance.
I love the attention to new scene, like expansion upon that, like to show off his like newfound like power, and like he's in power, he's in control of Shinra, like every city is under his wing. He's like, I'm gonna show you my dominance. We're gonna fire the sister ray. Boom.
Yep.
Like, that was so sick.
And it's probably under the guise of like, you know, under me you'll have like the utmost protection, you know, from
right. And what did Rufus say in the original game? A lot of people probably forgot this. He says, "Yeah, my father tried to control the world with money and power." He goes, "I control it with fear."
Yeah.
Rufus is all about fear and manipulation and fear and control. So how he does that, he lets everybody know, say, hey, see this sister ray cannon? We will use it on somebody. Boom.
Yeah.
What he talks about, the new world order. It's like, this is a new order. Like, you thought my father ran everything fine. He goes, trust me, I'm the man in charge. Like, better pay attention. It's all about fear, manipulation. And I loved it.
Oh yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's being broadcasted too.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is.
You'll probably walk around parts of Junon and go into like a bar at Junon, like the upper plate of Junon.
Oh yeah.
It'll be like on the news in the background. That'd be
I can't
sick.
wait.
Yeah.
So then we see first clarification. Square Enix like, yeah, you guys will worry about mini games. You guys worry about us being faithful. Here, have the marching mini game in. Boom.
Right. Yeah.
Who's leading in the back? Cloud with a Buster Sword. Instead of him being in the back, he's actually leading the command, which is I love that.
That's pretty cool. And then there's a prompt for L2 for changing formation.
Yeah, so they talked about that. You change the formations, like depending on how well you do your command of the whole group is what you're gonna get rated on TV, which is great. I love that.
I'm thinking that maybe they haven't shown any like actual interface of what it's going to look like, but I can imagine it'd be sort of like a rhythm game, you know.
Oh yeah, I can see them doing something like that. Then they move on to show you like different locations. They show you like this like jungle-y area or foresty area with like a big reactors, and everybody's like, what in the world is that? My first mind, Gungaga.
Yeah, I'm thinking that's Gungaga, like
broken
right
down reactor, foresty area, Gungaga.
Yep.
Oh wait, Zach would be like me, Gungaga.
Me, Gungaga.
And then we see like, well, before that we see Tifa like fighting on like by these coasts. It kind of reminds me like the Junon Harbor area, because it's kind of like, you know, sunset-ish, like you did in the demos.
Yeah, I think that's exactly where that is.
Yeah,
and there's like there's like pirate ships in the background, and and
like a lot of people said like this because of demo barriers is actually that place is a lot bigger than that.
A lot of people think. They purposely put barriers up for the demo, and
they don't want people spending like 3 or 4 hours in this one area. It's like, hey, we're time frame, get going.
Yeah, I think the staff actually told people that. It's like, yeah, if we had that open, people wouldn't actually finish the demo.
Yeah, it'd be too many exploring, which I love. I love the seamless world they're going for. Like everybody thought, maybe 16 is gonna be the bigger world, while Rebirth's gonna be more like the story driven, like how OG FF7 was. Like you had a world map,
right?
But you wasn't open. You couldn't cross mountains and stuff without going through caves and stuff like that. So everybody thought, okay, 16 is gonna be this granular game where it's gonna be story driven, but it's gonna be more open. No, it's actually the complete opposite. Rebirth is the open world, which
this is very seamless and huge. I mean, the scale of it.
Absolutely.
you can tell there's a reason why this is 3 full games worth of, you know.
Yeah, and like the map. Well, before we get back to the trailer, the map that we see in the demo, and somebody broke it all down. And they got like all the little islands on the bottom of the map.
Yeah.
And they got the full like the Junon map plus the upper part where the Chocobo farm and stuff's at. There's one thing missing. The whole upper area where you see Calm, but after that, there's like another area that's covered up, way up above. And they said Midgar is like 6,000 kilometers big. So try to, it's like, it's bigger than Junon. If you look at Junon's actually a lot bigger than as an OG FF7. So they expanded upon that. So Midgar is supposed to be a lot bigger than that. Like, so they haven't shown you that area up there. So that map alone, that's the smaller of the 2 continents. The third one's the snow area, but that's a continent, but it's like only what, 4. There's only 4 things up there.
Right. Oh yeah, Midgar's up there somewhere, like way upper left. You can kind of tell there's like a circular kind of formation that kind of goes into like a gray fog. You really can't even see it all. And I'm thinking that's like the beginnings of it. So. And
shout out to Ray Kaufman. I was watching his reaction to the TGS like English translation. They finally were able to like let people show it off, but now they got it down where you can't show the full 30 minutes in English, only like 10 minutes now.
It's like all cut up and stuff.
Videos will start getting deleted after the 30-minute mark ones. So Square's like, nope, cut, delete.
Yeah, I heard from another video someone did. I forgot his name. I was just looking through all the videos of impressions of it.
Yeah.
And they said they told content creators that they weren't allowed to just play it as is. They had to like talk over it or, you know, do something.
Right. They also had to like chop it up too. They only had they couldn't show off like cut scenes as much. They had to show just gameplay footage.
Yep.
Or just talk over and have the volume really low or something. But yeah, speaking of like Ray Kaufman and his video, he caught something in the ocean, and I don't think many people have caught this yet, other than him, as far as I know. I haven't watched all the breakdown videos, but he goes, "You see what's out in the ocean?" He pointed there. He goes, "There's an icon under the ocean, on the ocean floor." He goes, "You know what this means, guys? They got this whole map, including the oceans, all the locations, all mapped out. They already got all marked out already. It's in detail.
Crazy.
It's crazy, and we haven't seen like the southern area where like Temple of the Ancients are, or like Medieval. We haven't seen that locations yet. We haven't seen
and, Bone Village area.
Yeah, and then the second continent where Cosmo Canyon stuff's at, that's gonna be even more massive. Like it's gonna be like 1.5 times bigger than the continent we're seeing now. We haven't seen the full map of that continent yet.
It's so you could tell they spent this entire game just like filling out. We're just gonna make the entire map of Final Fantasy VII. Let's just do that and then make the game.
Right. It's just like, it's crazy. I go, you know what? I'll be happy with just like open zones, like Final Fantasy 12. I love FF12. Like the open zones, loved it. Like, it's like FF12 to me is like, it's up there in my top 5 favorites. I know, like, there's no main character really. Like the Gambit system, like people understand that the Gambit system is there if you want to use it. You don't have to. And of course, the story, like some story elements, kind of gets people lost. Like they don't know what the hell is going on, but I kind of do. It's a war between like 2 big empires, and you're stuck in the middle of it.
Yeah, it's like Star Wars.
Yeah,
it's pretty much Star Wars, basically.
But anyways, to get back to it, it's like Rebirth. I was like, open zones, massive open zones. You don't like it. Don't have to be seamless. Don't have to be an open world. I'll take it, but.
Oh yeah,
just
these barrage scenes of battle are so cool too. You get this little shot of Cosmo Canyon, and
Oh, like
There's a shot
Cosmo
of
Canyon, like I was so like mind blown of the trailer.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't
Yeah,
even
like, during the
recognize I was
day-
Cosmo Canyon at first.
Yeah, I had to like do a double take.
Yeah, it's like
And
I had to rewatch it and go, it's Cosmo Canyon. Everybody's flipping out. I was like, wait a minute. That's during the daytime.
yeah.
What?
oh, I know. It's so crazy.
And
We've
like,
never seen it during the day.
and then
'Cause
when the
there's, like-
first time they had Cloud just talking, it's like, hey, do you know where Sephiroth is? Do you know where to find him? And like when it showed Kate Sith
Oh,
and
man.
Cat Shi, I was like, and listen
Oh,
to his
yeah.
voice, I'm like, perfect. They get
I
it.
know. I can't wait for them to actually say it in the game because I'm with you. Like I say Cat Sith,
Yeah, Kate Sith, yeah. Cat Sith.
Kate Sith, or
Yeah.
And then just recently, maybe the past couple years, I've run across the Cat Shi,
Yeah.
which is probably more.
Yeah,
true,
I think that's the name they're
also-
gonna go with because like I think there's
I
an
think so.
old FF7 magazine or
Oh yeah.
book or something. It was like a magazine thing, booklet thing, and it said Cassia. So it's like, okay,
Oh, okay.
we're still gonna wait
Even
for
what-
it. We're still gonna wait for it.
Oh yeah. Even one of the social media managers for Square Enix said, "Well, you'll find out on February 29th."
Oh yeah, it's just like,
So
ah.
that'd be so cool.
And I remember the interview they had way back, and in the process of making remake, one of the dev teams, he went out of his way. They knew that Cat Shi or Kate Sith is gonna be kind of used in remake, but he didn't know, he didn't understand like the full concept. Like, so what he did is he created a cat, right? He developed a cat, created a cat, made a Moogle body, and he showed it to the team, and team's like, we're only gonna use him in like a cameo, like a cameo. Like he's not gonna be actually in the game. Like he's gonna be like a cutscene. And
oh wow.
that, when I read that, it's like, are they actually gonna do it? There's no way they're not gonna do it. And sure enough, the next clip we see is Cat Shi or Kate Sith. He's transformed into the fat Moogle body. I'm like, yes, they get it.
Yeah. He like puffs out of it with a puff of smoke and then like appears on top of it, and it's like,
and it's like,
what is even going on?
you pause that trailer, look at Case Sith's little his big Moogle body. He's adorable.
Yeah.
He's cute.
Oh yeah, it's so cool. Like they did it perfectly. I mean, it's the fur textures look great. Like,
Oh yeah,
just
it looks
insane.
great. And it's like, that trailer's from a very old build too. So it's like,
yeah.
how much better is it gonna look? Like,
I remember just a quick story. Back when I beat remake, I was already imagining like, dude, holy crap! Like, what is Cat Sith or Cat Shi's fighting even gonna look like? This is insane to even think
Right?
about or like contemplate. But they showed just like a little tiny snippet, and it's
and
Yeah, I can't
he
wait.
fights. He kind of fights like OG. He just smacks you around with his big old puffy arms.
yeah, big
Like-
old puffy arms and like a headbutt and like
Headbutt. He does like a big old uppercut. I was like, oh.
Yeah, it's just man.
It's like
can't wait to
it's
see
so
more of it.
great. It's like these devs get it, and people that want to like shout out
Yeah.
on social media is like, oh, they're lazy. They use the same tracks. So it's like, have you not played FF7? Have you not heard
Right.
like the world map?
Yeah.
Anywhere you go, other than towards the second half of the game, is more daunting of a main theme. The main theme's in the play, so get used to it. You heard it in the first
Exactly.
game. It's going to be in the second
Right.
game. It's going to be in the third game.
Exactly. Like are people gonna be upset that like, oh man, I heard the Cosmo Canyon theme on the jukebox. Why is it in the game again? Like what?
Right.
It
It's
just
like,
doesn't make sense, you know.
I just
Really?
like I shake my head at this, and I don't want to go on ranting about it, but it's like
Right.
these devs
I
get
hear you.
a lot of love,
Yeah.
a lot of
This
heart.
dev,
These
Yep.
like Hamaguchi, shout out to him.
yeah.
He is. I think he's the one that he was a fan. He grew up playing FF7 before he joined
Oh,
Square
yeah.
Enix, and
Yeah.
he gets it. He's like when
Yeah.
he's on stage and he's having these interviews and stuff, like especially the PlayStation blog. You go read every single answer by him, and you're like,
He's like,
holy
super
shit,
enthusiastic.
Hamaguchi is like, you get it.
Yeah.
You're
He gets
us.
it. Yeah.
You're like,
Yeah.
we're in your shoes. We're developing this game. Not
I
Nomura,
can't
not
think of
Katase. I know Nomura is trying to keep it faithful, and Katase wants to go way
Right.
off board.
Right.
But Hamaguchi's like, you want gameplay? You want a world that's seamless? You can go visit any dungeon. We haven't seen any dungeons in this game yet. We haven't seen any any of that stuff. Like we haven't seen.
Yeah, it's so insane. Like they understand what the original game is, and they're delivering on everything we remember. I mean, I have very little doubt that there's going to be like nothing missing that we remember from the original games.
Absolutely,
original game.
Absolutely. It's like
represented.
Then the next scene we see after cat shit.
After cat shit.
Case as I see the post as I just call him cat shit.
Yep.
But anyway, the next scene we saw, this is what really blew me away, was the buggy. I seen the buggy. Like, I'm like, yes, this is FF7. This is what a Final Fantasy game is. We got goofy vehicles. We see a black chocobo running or walking up the mountain. We see a sky chocobo flying. It looks like the blue one. It's like, these devs get it. It's
so crazy. Like I right away when I saw the buggy, I was like, okay, yeah, they're not missing a beat. They're not skipping anything. They're not cutting corners.
And people's like, FF7's silly. We gotta have more silly moments. And Square's like, okay, hold my Buster Sword. I got a little secret for you guys. I have something in. Cloud on a Segway and Costa del Sol.
Oh, I didn't even know I couldn't even believe what I was looking at. Like,
in one of the interviews, one of like the IGN interviews, they call it a wheelie. They call it a wheelie, but in other interviews, they call it a Segway.
Right. Yeah, I think most people call it a Segway.
And what's really funny about this, if you really pay attention to interviews, the devs actually said that all the parties will have Segways. So everybody's gonna be on a Segway, even including Red 13.
Of course. They covered all the bases. Like, this is just sick. Like, and you can tell some of these battles they show after this too. Like, there's a couple battle scenes that are on the beach where you see Barrett and Yuffie's synergy attack.
Oh yeah, the synergy attack.
That's like
so good.
Yeah, that's right near Costa del Sol. You can tell.
Yeah, it's like
just
Did you notice like Cloud's outfit for the Segway section? If you look at the Promise by Tifa and Cloud back when they're kids, he's wearing the same type of outfit.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
the same like the shirt with a little bit longer shirt sticks out and the shorts and.
Oh my gosh.
They actually somebody posted like no freaking way.
Yeah. I think Costa del Sol is going to be a whole thing, like complete with like Hojo on the beach.
Oh yeah, they got to. They can't cut that out. They know fans expect that. But you know what they done before they done remake? The devs actually went back and replayed FF7. They said it's like we haven't played FF7. The devs actually admitted this. They went back and played FF7 to get like really like they've done so much FF7 stuff since FF7 OG. They went back and played the original game. Just that way they understand. Go now I remember this was in the game. I remember so and so did this. He made this design. We got to put this in the game. Like they knew they know if they cut anything from the game, fans would get pissed. And I'm pretty sure after reading the thoughts and reactions from people remake, there's a couple of things that people complained about. There was no prison scene in the Shinra headquarters, and the Shinra the Shinra HQ massacre didn't occur. That's just purple blood.
Right. Yeah, the purple blood. Yeah. Even I was kind of like, you know.
Yeah, I understand why they did that for the rating reason. They're keeping the rating rated T because that's how OG FF7 is. They figure if we keep it rated T, the fans will have that nostalgia trip.
Right.
In intermission, they did show a little bit of blood. So, and I guess the cut by Sephiroth, people say, "Oh, it's just material from her vest and stuff." I go, "No, that's actually blood splatter." So it looks like they learned their lesson. And so far from this trailer, going through it again, the trailer shows a lot of stuff. It shows a lot of heart, shows a lot of faithfulness of the game, and they keep hitting us with these interviews to say, the main story, the main plot of FF7 is still gonna see the same. We're not changing that.
Yep. They've reiterated that many times. Like,
and
the
people
story
say,
needs
well,
to be-
remake ending wasn't the same. I said, have you played the whole game? We done the bombing mission. We escaped on the train. We went to go see Tifa. We boarded the train to go. Of course, we had chapter 4. That was new. Chapter 5.
We had,
And so on and so forth. It's all faithful. Yes, it was expanded upon in some spots and maybe changed a little different. It's still the same events that occurred.
Still the same main events and everything, and they wanted to give more screen time to minor characters to give more impact for their interactions.
And it's funny, the one thing we haven't seen yet, we heard Hojo talk in that trailer. He's talking to Cloud. And I was listening carefully. He's talking to Cloud about, so you decided to join your brothers. And Cloud's like, what? What are you talking about? And Hojo's like, well, your friends down here have all made it to the reunion. So I wonder if, prediction, this is theory time, they said we're not going to visit the same locations in the same exact order, right? They're going to change it around to fit the narrative. What if we still go to the Whirlwind Maze for the reunion before the final, Forgotten Capital scene? What if they switch those two around to make it make more sense? Because why would Hojo be like, hey, you decided to join your brothers for the reunion? And he's like, huh? What are you talking about? He's like, yeah, your brother's down here. I don't know exact line, but.
Right. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
and,
it's like.
They've said before that stuff is going to happen in a different order than what we're used to from the original game.
Oh yeah.
And,
so it's like.
And some of that stuff you can actually get away with because you can put I think you're probably familiar with Maximilian Dude.
Yeah, absolutely.
He did a video explaining the snowboarding stuff could actually be moved before the Forgotten City.
It kind of makes sense because he says if we get another trailer or two and they show Aerith and going snowboarding or Aerith is in the snow with your group, that means they're gonna put that first because it's kind of weird to me that you'll have you'll have the ending of Rebirth where Aerith dies and something else bad happens or something really shocks us to make us go, whoa, what the hell is part 3 gonna be about now? What's this twist gonna be about now? Right. And then you come out of part 2 into part 3 about 2026, 2027, and the first thing you do is you travel a little while, go, hey, let's go snowboarding.
I know it would
be
feel,
huh?
It would feel so not appropriate, you know what I mean?
Right.
In the original game, it's whatever. It's a levity thing where it's
it gives the fans after they grieve a little bit, they go snowboarding and they're back in the game, right? Because they go, oh yeah, it's a video game. It's not actually real.
Right, exactly. So
yeah, so it's
but yeah, I think for more dramatic reasons, I think they'll move that stuff around. Like they said, like he was saying, they could put the Forgotten City up further than.
Yeah, it's just when we saw. Okay, so in that trailer, we'll continue on after we get the Ghost Saucer. Ghost Saucer looks unbelievably real.
Oh my god,
it looks so good.
They did it perfectly.
I don't know if you caught it. You probably have. A lot of people have by now. But yeah, Yuffie looks like she's all dressed up. I guess she's going undercover for your group because you see Tifa behind these couple of girls on your left side of the screen, and on your right you see Aerith. But Yuffie's the only one dressed up in this Japanese robe, right? She's all dressed up she's trying to do something.
Yeah, she's dressed in a yukata kind of thing.
Yeah. You wonder what the heck's going on, right? Because that's not in the original. And then
there's something. Yeah.
Andrea, he makes his return.
Yeah.
In a dancing game.
Which means the dancing game is definitely back.
Because remember when Andrea told Tifa, he goes, I would love to have you on stage with me dance one time.
Yep. You should come back anytime.
Yep. So it's maybe Tifa, maybe Yuffie's gotta do something. There's some speculation because the angle of the the thing that leads you up to the gold saucer the party was in, and like Yuffie's like, look, and everybody's like, the 3 girls like going, you know, getting like, you know, really excited. You see Klaus sitting there with his arms folded, like he's a badass soldier.
Oh, yeah.
Where is Red 13? You don't hardly see him. Where's Barrett? You don't see him. He's a big bulky guy. It's like, where are they at? And a lot of people thought maybe that like Barrett maybe storms off. Maybe he rides the ship first. Maybe there's a couple of them. He just storms off. He gets pissed because he gets pissy in this section.
Oh yeah.
So he gets pissed. He leaves, which makes sense, right? Because he gets pissed off. Go, well, you guys want to go gold saucer and have fun? He goes, I'm just gonna go up here and do my own thing for a while. It's like, whatever he's gonna do, he's gonna get pissed. I can't wait for John Eric Bentley's work in that section.
Because it's right after Coral.
Yeah.
Coral Town.
And believe it or not, PlayStation Blog shared a screenshot, and a lot of people speculating. It's like, where in the hell is this at? Why is Barrett looking kind of tense and mean, like mad and angry, like he's like gonna kill somebody? He's got his gun pointing towards you, like he's about ready to shoot.
Oh yeah. He's
getting angry, and speculation is that's our first look at the dying scene.
Yeah, I think so too. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's right, because behind him, like, it's like a shack. If you look very carefully, like in the blurred background, it looks like they're in a desert area.
Right.
I'm like,
oh yeah, it's
holy crap!
I can't wait for that. I can't wait for that whole flashback scene with them with that.
But then Square's like, okay, you want the gold saucer? Fine. A lot of people love Andrea. Fine, he's back. Yuffie's doing her thing. Okay, you guys want to see the deal? He blows you a kiss. Then Square's like, okay, we're not done yet. Here's 3 mini games you guys love: Chocobo Racing, the Rock'em Sock'em Robot, blocky polygon boxing game where you gotta hit high, hit low, block.
Oh yeah,
I love that. It's like,
it's right out of there. Like, oh my gosh, it looks so good.
I just like, and then they finish it off with the bite mini game, which that's awesome. That's awesome.
Oh yeah, yeah. And you know these games are going to be way more fun than the original game. Like I remember like the original game, like replaying the original game. Like some of the mini games they're kind of rough. They're rough.
Oh yeah.
You know, but they're still nostalgic.
Like,
you know,
just to backtrack to 2021, like when we saw the trailer for the Yuffie DLC and it showed off like Fort Condor, I'm like, they just made Fort Condor way better. And you go to play the Fort Condor minigame, like you spend hours doing it. It's like, I'm having fun.
Yeah, and it is legitimately great. Like I spent so much.
Minigame, that minigame in the OG FF7 wasn't like bad, but you had to waste a lot of money in that game. Like,
yeah,
you just throw like thousands of gil into it. And if you had to do it like early, like most of us do, we go to Fort Condor first before we go to Junon. Like, you better be rocking at least 15 grand.
Oh yeah,
like
gotta get that Phoenix. Summon.
And it's like, oh no, you get Red 13's second weapon from that.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, you get a second weapon. But yeah, it's like the mini game and the like everybody's hoping that Fort Condor makes it mini game comes back. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm absolutely certain because there's I mean, they wouldn't have put it in the DLC for Yuffie if they were not gonna have that feature.
It's like
later on
they can use that for like you can challenge people here and there to it if they have a board game, and then you got Queen's Blood, which we'll talk about that later on in the show. But after all the mini games, I'm trying to think how the trailer went. I've seen it so many times, my mind's reeling.
Oh yeah, I got it brought up here.
Okay. Yeah, you're the trailer guy. So the next next couple scenes,
I'll set it back up. So the very next scene is it cuts back to Zack.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Zack is all still cut up and bloody. He goes to Kyrie. He's like, "Hey, you mind just watch my friend for a little bit?"
Watch my friend real quick. Yeah, you can tell this is you can tell this is him. Like, oh crap, I better check on Aerith. Here, watch my friend for a second.
Right. It's just like
it's sort of the it's before the ending of the Yuffie DLC where he's at the where he goes to
and
the
somehow
church.
he gets rid of all his scrapes and cuts and stuff like that. He's all back
Right, yeah, he goes takes a shower real quick.
Yeah, I'm good. Good. We got everything patched up. May probably put makeup on.
Oh yeah. So after that, let's play in here. They show more shots of Rufus. He's looking up at something, and then they show this this mysterious hooded. Gentleman.
Yeah, that guy. They're showing him for a reason.
Yeah, people are speculating that that's Reeve, and I can kind of believe that.
The problem with that, Reeve's got darker facial hair than that. But it might be the sun.
Yeah.
The sun might be shining on it, making it more brighter. A lot of people think it might be an older Glenn from Ever Crisis.
Oh, okay.
The problem with that, though, he's blonde hair. So, how's his facial hair gonna be? If it's gonna be brown, we don't know. A lot of people think it might be Roach, but he's blonde hair. He kind of had a little blonde hair, dark brown, but he didn't have much. He didn't have much facial hair like that, though.
Yeah, the facial hair looks almost exactly like Reeve, only it's a little bit longer. Like there's a little bit of more of a little goatee going down longer.
That character is gonna play a major role in some sort.
Yeah, because he sort of has to be. I don't know, like. Yeah, it wouldn't make sense actually for it to be Reeve because he can control. 3, 2, 1. Spoilers on Cat Chi. He actually is controlling that character remotely.
Yeah.
So, but he could do that probably from anywhere. So he probably wouldn't have to be that close. So yeah, you're probably right. It's from some new character that we haven't seen.
Yeah, I don't think it's anything from Ever Crisis or anything like that. I think it's just a brand new character because they're using a whole bunch of characters. Then after that, we go to actually we forgot one scene. It's a brand new scene. So with the doctor, he's explaining about the cellular degradation. At first, I'm like, is that Gas? No, Gas is dead. Now Hojo. Right. So I'm thinking, is that the doctor from Medeo? But in further investigation and like watching other people watch it, and I watched like the trailer and the having the closed captions on. His name is Sharon? Whatever his name is, Dr. Sharon. And guess what he's from? Traces of Two Past book.
Oh, I heard someone mention that. Like,
yeah, you know what doctor that is? He's the one that patches Tifa up after the incident at Nibelheim.
At Nibelheim, yeah.
So that's the doctor that she has to pay back. So what she do? She works at the bar by that guy that owns it, Seventh Heaven. And you played Crisis Core, right?
Yeah.
Okay. There's a side quest that Zack helps this guy out with the wood. He's like, hey, you mind help me like figure out like a name for this bar, like where like these eco-terrorists and stuff like that. So he comes up with the name Seventh Heaven. So it's like, yeah, all adds up now. It's like, yeah, so they're taking stuff from the books even. So and people's like, that's fine. That's fine. I'm the same boat as these people. It's fine to take stuff from books and like other media of FF7, but don't make it where like you gotta read those books or watch this movie or read these articles to understand what these characters are. You're gonna have to explain that in your game of who he is.
Yeah, I think there's gonna be. I think that scene is gonna be all. It's gonna be. I think Tifa's gonna have a scene where she explains who this is, and, what's going on.
That'd be great. And then Tifa wasn't in that shot. In that shot, it was actually Eris. She's in the doorway behind Cloud.
Okay.
So you got the hooded figures, but in that same room, at the next frame over, is Sephiroth telling Cloud, "Hey," he's like, "You know the truth. You don't believe in me." He's like, "Trust me. Come with me.
Trust me."
Yeah. And like he goes, "Sephiroth," and I love that. It's like,
I know.
I love the interaction between Cloud and Sephiroth. They're gonna have a lot more screen time for Sephiroth, by the way.
Yeah. And they show like a little bit of the. I think that's emerald weapon in there.
I'm gonna tell you what it is. A lot of people thought it was emerald weapon. A lot of people thought it was maybe sapphire weapon, the one that gets his head blown off in OG FF7. That's not the case.
Oh yeah.
Nomura actually, in the translation of the TGS showcase, it's hard to like understand the translator, but during the segment where they're going through like the trailer and like they're talking about it a little bit, Nomura actually states that that is a brand new weapon for Rebirth.
Oh yeah.
So they're bringing new weapons in this thing, and they did state that weapons will wake up earlier than normal in Rebirth.
Oh yeah. I remember that part of the interview. They said,
So it's like I can't wait. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah. Shit's gonna get real really quick. Like halfway through, even halfway through this game is gonna get crazy.
And people's like, that's when Genesis is gonna show up.
Mark my words. Genesis is going to be a virtual reality secret boss.
You know what? I wouldn't put it past it. They know. Like FF7, the devs of Rebirth and Part 3, they're not gonna say, well, Genesis don't exist. Like, you guys, you bastards, you guys made a secret ending of Dirge of Cerberus that a lot of us got. I think I got that scene my first playthrough somehow.
Oh yeah.
At the end of Dirge of Cerberus, Genesis wakes up from his comatose sleep. He grabs the body of Weiss and he mentions these words, the same words he mentions the cloud. Sephiroth mentions the cloud in beginning of chapter 8. He's like, brother, there is so much to be done. Same words that Genesis uses. He's like, brother, there is so much to be done. He flies up with his one wing. He flies off in the distance. That's the ending of Dirge of Cerberus. So Genesis is indeed alive. So.
Oh yeah, for sure. And even Weiss is, because I mean, like, he's just chilling in the basement while the scientists are like recreating him in AI. You know, he's being contained. You know, he's being contained in there, but you could still tell.
And now I know a lot of people worry about Deep Ground playing like a major role in FF7 ruining it. It does just say that Deep Ground is not going to be in Rebirth.
Right.
So I was like, don't worry about it. You're not going to see Nero and Vice. You're not going to see any of those other ones run amok. You don't have to worry about that. Just worry about Chadley. He wants world domination now.
Yeah. They even said before. They said in a recent interview. They said, you know, there's going to be characters from the compilation of Final Fantasy VII returning.
Oh yeah, they said like returning characters, even brand new characters we never saw.
Right, and you know, and they're not going to be part of the major storyline or anything. They're just going to be like these little nods here and there, like, oh, remember this thing? Like, okay, we'll throw you a bone.
You know what's really funny? Like the 3 trailers we got, plus a little bit of gameplay footage. I'm surprised we haven't seen him yet. I just mentioned him just a few minutes ago, but they confirmed back in 2020, like July, the interviews, like just barely starting to talk about. It's actually 2021. They started talking about like part 2 a little bit. They actually stated that Roche is gonna play a role in Rebirth. Like he's confirmed. Like we have not seen him in any of the trailers or marketing yet, which is crazy.
Right. I do remember that. Yeah.
Because
maybe,
I think the theory is gonna be right. I think that he's gonna play the part of like the cellular degradation where he's slowly gonna lose his character, and Cloud's gonna be the one that he's gonna have to end his life. And that's gonna be like the hard hitting. And we might see him a little bit in part 2. I would not be shocked if we see him again in part 3.
Oh yeah. And maybe you fight him again later on when you actually return to Midgar. Like you'll do one final race with him, and that'll be the final. Yeah,
because it does state that they wanted more screen time with Roach and a remake, but they just couldn't fit him in. Make make sense.
Because it'd be cool if it'd be like, you know, it's like, come on, Cloud, before I have my send off, let's have one more wild, you know, race or you know, something like that. That'd be so cool.
And he's gonna be to the point. He's almost gonna be like Genesis, how Genesis was a reunion. Like he's so colorful, talking about Loveless, but towards the end, like before like Zack kills him, before he comes back brand new again, like you can tell that Genesis is just a shell of himself.
Oh yeah.
And like and just like Angio, not Angio, but his copies, like seeing his copies like almost down to like the last health bar, and it's like you're just a shell of yourself. Like, you're just a shell of Angio now. It's like, that's what I want to see in Roach. Like, I think that's a perfect way to handle his story. Him and Claw's gonna have a rival, and they can't just have him one scene and be like, I'll be back in part 3, see you later. It's like, no.
Right, exactly.
You're gonna have to make him have a little bit of story. Like, I know he's gonna probably be he's probably gonna be part of the main story. Like, that's gonna be a new expansion. There's no way this game's gonna be 100 hours. Like, it's gonna be more than that. Like, got to thinking, like,
just with all the added stuff, all the mini games and
and like the half hour little gameplay snippet of TGS, it was rushing through a lot of that, and it took them a half hour to do like what, 2 or 3 quests, and like it took them like a half hour, and they only covered just a little line from like Calm all the way down to like to the Chocobo farm. Just a little trail.
They activated one tower and did a Chocobo.
And they did one little challenge fight. That was about it. Like, it's like there's dungeons on the map. There's a whole bunch of stuff. Like, and I can't wait. Anyways, back to the trailer. After that weapon, and Tifa's like looking through the glass. I don't know where this is taking place at. I don't think they're actually there with a weapon. I think they're seeing like a vision or like what's going to happen. And like Red 13's explaining it.
Like Red 13's explaining it. I think it's like I think this is like part of the observatory.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Maybe like Red 13's grandfather, Bugenhagen. I can't wait to hear him speak more.
Oh, that's
the observatory and stuff like that. It's like, like, it's so excited to think about all this stuff. Like the second trailer, like people need to go back and rewatch that. It's like they show Bugenhagen off, they show off a few other areas off, and like they show off like the Genova fight, and like they show off I don't know, a few other things. Like even like Sephiroth teasing that, hey, do you know that I kill her? So who is she? Like
who is she?
Like teasing that stuff. So it's like
he's messing with Cloud's head, you know?
Yeah, so like the whole that makes sense as observatory. Maybe there's like a globe or something that Bugenhagen can look into and say, okay, this is what's going on. Like it shows like if possible events that's gonna occur. And Red 13 explains, hey, this is like a planetary weapon system, a weapon that comes to life when the planet feels like it's threatened. Well, it feels more threatened now because the Whispers are absorbed by Sephiroth. Sephiroth's up to way no good. Whatever his end game is, it does involve Meteor because Meteor is still there in the title logo.
Yep.
And
oh man.
So I'm excited about that. Then we get the shot outside this room, and once I saw the room in the coffin, I'm like, no way. And they show Vincent.
This was
who dare disturb my slumber?
It's like exactly out of the original game. He shoots out of the coffin exactly like that in the original game.
Yeah,
like
and then the Japanese version of the trailer, he actually says like, who dares, not like who dares disturb me, but more like who woke me up from the nightmare I want to have or something like that. Like he talks about his nightmares he's having.
Yeah, I'm having a great nightmare. Who does? Yeah.
And it's like that's so crazy. Like,
and then you see right on the if you pause it when it shows the back of Vincent's head talking, confronting the group. You see a little treasure chest right there.
Oh yeah. We're going to talk about treasure chests in the next segment of this podcast because there's something I caught my eyes caught because somebody mentioned it as well. We'll get to that, but yeah, that Vincent, the reveal was great. They didn't show off his face because they're just teasing us. It's a teaser for Vincent. His voice, I think his voice sounds great.
Yeah, I think it's perfect already.
And people said, well, from according to some sources, Square hasn't confirmed this yet, but it's Matt Mercer.
Yeah, that's the first thing I was gonna say. Like, people are already like, oh, that's Matt Mercer for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm like, it's like if that's the case, perfect. He knows how to handle Vincent. He can do it.
Oh
I know Steve Blum, like he admitted, he goes, yeah, I'm not voicing Vincent because he's not. You know, they're recasting everybody. So when he mentioned that on Twitter, he's like answering somebody's question. So yeah, they're recasting the whole characters. Like, I'm not voicing Vincent in Rebirth. It's like, okay, thanks for the confirmation.
You know what would be actually crazy? I don't want to get too like expectations up, but like, what if he's like a boss? Like, what if you fight him? Like, kind of crazy.
I mean, it's possible. Like, he could get angry enough where you have to fight him, like, to get him to join your team as a guest.
Yeah.
But yeah, his room looks different. Like, they put him in a different spot in the Shinra Mansion.
Oh yeah. Outside you can actually see it's kind of like, you could tell it's like almost like more of a lab.
Yeah.
You know, kind of environment. I think the Shinra Mansion is going to be a whole thing. Like, it's going to be a whole dungeon.
It's gonna be massive. Like, even when I saw Reunion and like how massive the basement was, I was like, yeah, they're teasing.
It's gonna be a whole like, it's like holy shit. There's gonna be like another secret lab in the mansion,
and I guarantee this, we're gonna have 2 boss fights. One's gonna be a mini boss. One's gonna be the main boss. The main boss is Lost Number. The mini boss, if you remember my polls, is gonna be Yin and Yang.
Oh, yep, I do remember.
Yeah, that by far that is Nomura's favorite enemy design, by the way.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he said that's his favorite enemy design. So you know dang well they're gonna make him into something special. So I just can't wait.
What was that one enemy in there that was like a chandelier?
Oh yeah, he was with the big old blade. He swings at you.
Yeah,
and then if you damage him long enough, like, he falls off.
Yeah, I think that's probably gonna be one of the not a boss fight, but it'll be.
He'll be like he'll probably be like just like a mob by himself. He'd be like a hard difficult fight. Because you got these clown mask things, pumpkins. You have to fight them too. And they got the bouncing enemies that bounce. They got the mirrors.
That's gonna be so fun.
Mirrors gonna have reflect, so you can't use magic on them.
Oh, yeah, yep. That's the one thing I love about these games, even a remake. I mean, even down to the crazy monster designs, they're doing them justice.
Oh yeah. So there's there's 3 things we didn't talk about in the trailer. I forgot about it. Alexander looks great.
Oh my gosh! And
he is he's a simulator boss.
Simulator boss. Yep, it looks like it.
The next enemy everybody thought maybe is like look like a behemoth, but if you look closely to the eyes and compare it to the one he summons in OG FF7, there's Kayada.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I was gonna say the same thing. Yep.
Yeah. Because he uses all different elements. I'm like, who's that? Like, now you got things is that one with that bull looking thing? Sure enough.
Yeah. I had to look really close too, and I was like, holy crap, it is him.
And then
if you look really closely at the Odin shot, it's in the swamp with the snake.
He comes out and like the snake is like laying down. I wonder if he's like staggered or something.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too.
Now
looks really cool.
That confirms you get Odin relatively soon after you leave Calm.
Yeah.
So I wonder if this happens. Remember in the okay, we're done with the trailer now. We're gonna move on to TGS.
Yeah.
And then we'll move on to the previews, the 2 demos. I want to talk about that too. But when you talk to Charlie, I know you probably watched the English version, but you get done talking to Charlie, he helps you out, and like you stick the Chad module. Nice little heads up idea there, Chad Lee. So you stick that in there. You have the nice Horizon Assassin's Creed thing going on. Which, by the way, people probably don't like the idea. Like, a lot of people are a little disgusted by it. So yeah, Hamaguchi is a big fan of Horizon. It's got a lot of Horizon inspiration in it, like the dialogue for the characters when they talk, on the towers, all that. Like even like gathering stuff. and sneaking around trying to like capture chocobo, yeah, and throwing a rock. That's all Horizon.
All right. Oh, that's yeah.
So, anyways,
Looks
you
really
talk to
good.
Chadley, and he's like, okay. So he gets all the stuff on the map, and if you look closely, you talk to him about the materia. He said, oh, it's like a new like combat simulator, like this new like simulator quest or objectives you can do. Like, yeah, this is probably where you get Odin.
Mhm. Oh yeah, yeah. He'll be like the first one that you can unlock and fight in the VR.
Absolutely. And it's like, I just
It'll
can't wait.
It'll be after you do a couple of the objectives and stuff.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. Or you might be able to do it right there and then, but he's gonna be tough. It's Odin. Like, Odin's not gonna be easy.
Yeah, that's. You might have to do some leveling up.
So I don't know if I made a video on covering this, but I talked to some people and I kind of got it all wrong about how the layout of the story is gonna go. So according to all the TGS and what they talked about, all the trailers, all the gameplay footages we got, this is why I think we're gonna start the game out. You're gonna hit start game, and you're gonna be like, either you're gonna start with Cloud and them like inside the hotel calm. They're gonna start talking, right? Because they're gonna say, hey, why did Sephiroth come back for all these years, 5 years later? Then you're gonna go to the flashback. The flashback, like you said, is gonna be like an hour or two long. I agree.
Yeah.
Like they cut off a whole lot off that in the little demo they gave us for 20 minutes.
Yeah,
so
there's
So we're gonna see a taste of like all the abilities, the synergies, and all that, and see that wow, Sephiroth just he mows these enemies down. He kills these bosses real easily. Like, we would love to control him, and we're gonna be a lot higher level for that part, because when you come back, the team is gonna be probably, they're not gonna start like level 6 or 7. I think they're gonna start like level, I'm gonna say level upper teens, almost 20.
Oh yeah, maybe level 15.
Because one of the builds they showed off, like, they was like level 21. It was just in the grassland area, I think it was, or maybe
like,
Junon.
yeah.
So
yeah, like right outside the grasslands, like when they go out.
So this is how the game's gonna go. And spoilers, if I'm right, I don't want to like spoil it to you guys. So 3, 2, 1, here we go. We're gonna start off with Cloud and I'm gonna talk. Then it's gonna go back in the flashback. Play that for like 1 or 2 hours or so, maybe 3. Then something bad's gonna happen. Shinja's gonna show up with those ships, right? Those planes. I forgot what they're called. Starts with a G. They're gonna show up, and they got to leave. So there's gonna be like it's probably gonna be like a tunnel. I think I saw it. Like, there's a shot of Calm, which Calm in the music is fan-freaking-tastic.
Yeah.
Loved it. Loved it. So anyways, I think there's like a underground tunnel they gotta go through to escape. I don't know if somebody's gonna help them escape or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, there's gonna be some kind of contact there that's like, oh, we know who you are. Come with me, kind of thing.
So you're gonna go through there. You get to like the underground things. I thought maybe it's just after the Mithril mines, but it doesn't make sense, right? Why would they put Mithril mines right next to Calm? It doesn't make sense.
Because on a side note, right next to Junon there's a map marker that says Mithril Mines. So like that exit is right there, right from the original game.
Okay, so
yep. So this is like a different dungeon that they're probably going to go through.
Probably different dungeons, probably a short one.
Yep.
Then you go through the door because you start off in like you're like in a town and you, of course, like the Sephiroth Cloud flashback. That's gonna be kind of linear, right? It's gonna be like almost like Midgard kind of, and you're gonna be like, really, is this how the game's gonna be? Because they're setting you out, they're building up the anticipation. Because when you blow open those big doors, you have that cutscene. That's exactly what the devs want you to see. When you leave Calm or Midgard and Calm, you're like, oh shit, we're out in the world. Like, we can do whatever the hell we want. We can go left, we can go right, we can go straight, we can't go back the other way we came, but we can go anywhere we want. Barrett's excited, Eris excited, Red 13 wants to lead us the way, and like, the world's open. So it's like the next chapter, which should be this would be the second chapter. They're gonna go by chapter base, by the way. They confirmed that. You know?
Yep.
I don't know how many chapters will be.
perfect.
Be way more than 18, I would think. Unless the chapter is a lot longer.
You're right.
So you do the chocobo thing, get the chocobo, you can do a few side quests, you can explore the whole world before you hit the marker. The marker now, you got the chocobo farm, you go all the way, you swing, it's like almost like an S curve. There's the story quest marker, they didn't go to it, they didn't even come close.
Right.
So after they captured chocobo, they went back to like chocobo farm and all that. They went the opposite way. But once you get the chocobo, you can actually just, once you're able to get Pico, not Pico. Thank you, Barrett.
Yeah. Pico. Yep.
But once you get that, you make that little S curve around down south to the southwest. That's where the marker's at. That's where the swamp's at. And that's when you fight the Midgar Zalem.
Yeah.
He's gonna be a boss.
Like,
he's not gonna be optional.
no.
I seen people posting like a video clip of like Anaconda, where the Anaconda's like bites somebody and like flying through the water. I thought that was pretty sick.
I shared that too, because once you posted that, I thought that was so hilarious. I was like, yeah. This would be satisfactory if it just went like this. Like
it
oh
would. It so would. And like I'm thinking to myself, like, we saw the Midgar Zalem and we saw the bottom swell or Terror of the Deep. We saw that in the trailer.
Yeah.
We didn't cover that, but yeah.
Right.
I thought Midgar Zalem looks vicious. He looks insane. Now a lot of people complain about, he's not big enough. He should be like 2 stories tall. It's like, I mean, yeah, he should be about as tall as trees, right?
Right. But I mean, when you're fighting him, I think it's just, you're going to be fighting just like the like just upper neck head portion. Like the rest of him is going to be all laid out. Like it's not going to be like,
Yeah,
I think the scale's going to get.
He's going to be big. I'm pretty sure he's still going to be a big boss. It's just, you know, I'm just happy he's there. He's one of our first tough boss fights. He's not going to be easy. I think he might be a brick wall for a lot of people.
And here's my guess. This is just kind of like my fanboy speaking, but I think they're still going to do that scene where you arrive at the swamp. You're going to see, that famous scene where it's like, did Sephiroth do this?
Mm-hmm. They would have to.
Yeah. And then what they're going to do is they're going to have like, here comes its partner, wanting revenge. And,
I'd be happy about that.
Yeah, me too. That's how they're going to explain it,
Yeah, I mean, they could do that. They could find, maybe before you get to the swamps, you find one that's dead, and like the party stop and go, like, does Sephiroth do this? Like, I know we fought him. I know we fought him in the Singularity, but like, he defeated that snake.
He'd be capable of doing that. Like, only him would be powerful enough to do something like that.
Right, because.
And then there'll be a scene of like Bear going like, "Oh, hold on, oh my God, there's another one."
Right, yeah, that'd be so sick.
It wants its revenge.
Yeah, so you fight that boss. And you fight that boss and like the Midgar Zalem, which is gonna be amazing. I wonder what the soundtrack is gonna be for that boss.
I know. Well, I can't even imagine.
Because the main theme and it cuts into like the battle theme of the main theme. Oh, so perfect. Like,
so good, and it transitions so perfectly well.
I know. It's like they get it. They get it, and it's like people just need to realize that, hey, FF7 is not FF7 without the main theme playing while you explore the world. Like, I know you heard it. He's heard it in Chapter 3. That's it.
Yeah.
Chapter 3 and of course Yuffie DLC. That's it.
Yep.
We only hear it one time, 2 times in the whole remake game. You hear it twice.
Right.
Just because you spend 4 hours there doing side quests, I'm sorry you got annoyed by it, but it's like, that's the main theme.
It's still amazing.
Yeah, it is. I love it. I'll listen to it all day long.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna get the soundtrack for sure.
Yeah, and like, so it's like you fight the Midgar Zalem, and like then you reach the caves, and according to the second gameplay trailer we saw, which is from Summer Games Fest.
Yeah.
Your party's gonna get split up. It's gonna be Cloud, Tifa, and Aerith Barrett and Red 13 is gonna be by themselves. I don't know if they like.
Themselves?
There might be a tunnel that splits up. So hey, we'll split up. We'll meet ourselves on the other side.
Yep. Or there's some kind of cave in where they got to meet somewhere else. You know.
Yeah.
Hey, we're caved in. We'll go this way.
Yeah. And there's probably your. I think that's your first like story dungeon you gonna face, right?
Right. That's what I'm thinking too.
Yeah. It's your first story dungeon with the cloud in them. And of course, we don't know what happens. We don't know exactly everything that happens in the Mithril Mines, but we fight this new Mithril cave boss, rock boss, golem thing.
Like a big
that looks so sick.
Rock golem. Yeah,
it looks so sick. And then of course you fight Elena and Rude.
Elena and Rude with Cloud, Aerith, and Tifa.
And a lot of people wanted that. A lot of people like it's kind of weird in the original game. You have chit chat with the Turks, they just chit chat and they let slip what they're doing. They go, all right, see you guys later. They have our ways. Like, no, like if you watch Advent Children, like not Advent Children, but like any of the Final Fantasy stuff, like the Turks are like sure they're not bad people, but they do bad things, right? They're hired to do bad things. Like that's just how they are. So it's like get to fight Rude and Elena. That's a heavy Final Fantasy 7 fan. Like,
oh, that's yeah.
Do you want to see one of these? I want to see in Rebirth or Part 3. I think Rebirth is more likely. I want them to sneak in a song battle.
Oh yeah.
That song, like maybe I know Reno's gonna have like a limited role because of the voice actor, the Japanese voice actor that passed away.
Right.
Which is kind of sad. But I understand why they're doing this. But I can see it where the limited role that he has, maybe like Reno comes back. He wants vengeance, right? He goes, all right, Elena, like you, me, and Rude, we're gonna fight them and get my revenge. However, his song is in the background, right? He's just going, all right, you three take care of these guys. You whoop the crap out of the three. And Song's like, okay. He snaps his gloves. He's like, you three did enough. I'll show you how it's done. And he's like your super boss, Turk.
Oh, that would be so great.
Yeah, I would love to see that. I would love to see that happen. Just see Song with, I don't know what kind of weapon he'll use, but he's the boss. He's the head boss for a reason. It's like,
oh yeah, for sure.
I would love to see.
Nice little 3-on-1 right there.
Yeah, and like. And he hits hard, and like your party wins, but like they're all like not winded and that, but like they'd be like, yeah, Song is not to be joking around with, but he lets you live. He's like, hey, you stay out of our way, you know?
Right. Oh, that would be so cool.
Yeah, I expect them to do something with Song. I know he's gonna play a role with Temporary Ancients and stuff, but he's gonna have a role. He's gonna have a bigger role, I think. And so is Rufus. Yeah. Rufus is gonna have a major role.
He's still keeping an eye on Aerith because it's like.
Yeah, he promised that.
He promised that, and you know, the Song and Aerith are like childhood friends, I think. So they've known each other for a while. So there's like good to them, but they're like under orders. So like, you know, we gotta do some bad shit sometimes. So
yeah, so we got Mithril Mines. We come out of Mithril Mines after we team up again. We come out of the caves, and of course we have the cutscene with the Condor, and Red 13 explains about why, like, the rumor has it it's just an island now. Rumor has it that I'm hearing that nobody can go there. Far as I know, like, that's cool stuff. I love the touch of the world building,
making it an island and making it more like elusive. You know?
Yeah. So even if like maybe later on Rebirth or maybe Part 3.
Yeah, that could be like, you know, you've been playing the mini game for a while. Now here's the actual real thing where you got to actually participate.
Oh yeah, that'd be amazing. So let's see. So we're at probably the first 3-4 chapters gonna lead you all the way to the cargo ship, going to Costa del Sol, and you go to Costa del Sol, and that's you see that. We of course go to Gungaga, we go to Cosmo Canyon. We see very little of the Shinra Mansion, and that's about it. As far as we know. As far as we go is like Nibelheim with the mansion with Vincent. Yeah. So it's like As far as we saw, we haven't seen anything from Forgotten Capital. We haven't seen Rocket Town yet or Sid. They're gonna save that for the next trailer. I guarantee that.
I think so. Yep.
They did confirm that all the original characters will be in there. It's just
they'll be
Sid and Vincent won't be playable, unfortunately.
Oh yeah, unfortunately.
But
yeah,
we'll
like you were saying, we've discussed earlier. You know, saying like, yeah, we kind of quickly got over the fact that we're not gonna have Sid and Vincent playable, but you know what I mean?
Cause they gotta have marketing material for part 3. You know.
Yeah, you gotta save stuff for the third game, and then the third game's gonna be huge, and you're gonna be exploring the entire
And people
map
don't really understand this. Like, you got this more in-depth combat system, and you got 7 characters you're using.
Right.
So if you add the other 2, that's 9. That's not including a playable Zack and a playable Sephiroth. So you're looking at 11 characters in Rebirth. That's a lot. That's a lot to take in.
That's a lot. Oh yeah. And if you really look at what's in Rebirth, even, I mean, there's going to be a lot of people still that haven't played the Yuffie DLC.
Oh yeah.
So you got Yuffie, you got Red 13 finally playable in this. You got Ketchi, and those are the 3. You know.
Right. That's the 3 new party members, and it makes sense.
I think, and it makes sense for where they're going to go going, and still saving the other 2 for. You know, part 3, and you know, the map is going to be. I mean, you're going to be able to explore the entire map by part 3. I mean,
absolutely.
So, and plus they got to figure out battle system stuff. Like when you have all 7 characters, like what are they gonna? How are they gonna tie everything up with everyone?
Right, and it's just like, and so far what we're seeing is like. Your party's gonna roam around with you. They're gonna ride chocobos together. They're gonna run with you. They're gonna be in cutscenes together. They might even have a few words together. Like, you're gonna have you're gonna have 9 characters. I'm gonna talk like before Aerith dies.
Yeah, it's insane.
It's crazy.
I mean, it's a lot to cover character-wise, story. I mean, they're probably going to add more dialogue and interactions with Yuffie.
Oh yeah, Vincent, absolutely. Like
since they're no longer optional.
Right. So, and now, okay, we're gonna switch.
We'll get those.
We're gonna switch gears a little bit. We're gonna talk about. I guess we'll talk about the demos real quick. Now we'll move on to the in-depth of the TGS stuff. So we got the 2. Because after the trailer, we go, okay, that's enough marketing. They're gonna save stuff for TGS, and then we're gonna go radio silence for a while until we get another trailer, probably at the Game Awards, right? That was my thought.
That's what I'm
happy. I'm happy with the TGS state of play trailer. Get something juicy. Get something to talk about for a while. But then it happened. I started sniffing around. Not sniffing around, but I started sniffing around out some more, like talk to some people, and I started like. I should have paid attention. I should have paid attention because Max Dude did his trailer reaction, right? You watched it, right? He was acting kind of funny within the first 30 seconds, right? He's like, "Oh, you do? Oh, yeah? You telling me something?" It's like he's acting suspicious because he already played the game. He played the game a few days ago. So he knew. They knew there was going to be a trailer. They just didn't know what. Like, they had plans for the state of play in Tokyo Game Show. They didn't say a whole lot during the whole conference thing. They was there playing the 2 demos. But I should have, like, he never acts like that. He's just like, oh, here we go. He's like, here we go. He's like,
oh Jesus, oh here we go, oh God.
Yeah, it's like, he was acting weird. Like he knew it was coming.
Leans forward with like eyes wide open, like, oh, you know, he's ready.
And there's a few other people I was waiting for reaction trailers from, like Roger Bass, like he wasn't around. There's a few other people that kind of got their reactions up later, like almost like a day late. Usually they do the same day. So you think I should have paid attention to all that because I started hearing things. I started reading up stuff. It's like, and then of course stuff started leaking, like Digital Trends, like accidentally posted a preview. I'm like, what? Somebody goes, yeah, they posted this. Like it's on Reset Era, like gaming leaks or something like that, rumors.
Yeah, I had no idea on my end. I was like, I was just like, oh, there's the Rebirth trailer at the State of Play, and that was it. Like I had no.
Yeah, no
I didn't
idea.
really-
You knew TGS is coming up like a few days later,
Yeah,
but you didn't know
that's
anything
true.
else.
Yeah, I was just like, oh, TGS, you know, we'll have to wait a few weeks, but they're gonna have like a stage show. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
And then that's why I didn't actually dive into what was going on or what I thought, you know, everyone like you were saying, because I was like, I didn't see any hits about that on Twitter. Usually I would pick up on that, but
Yeah, it wasn't on Twitter. It was on Discord. I'm in like the PlayStation Discord server thing.
Oh, nice.
And people start posting stuff like, wait a minute. He said this is like leaks and rumors. Like, previews actually went on. There's digital trends. And it's like, yeah, it's already been deleted, but somebody like downloaded like the cache like download thing.
Oh no.
And I read it. And I read it. I'm like, holy shit. That's why I heard it made a video talking about. There's some like I even made a tweet about it. It's like, yeah, I just read something, and it confirmed something that fans are dying to know. You know what it was? Yeah. Mr. Dolphin is confirmed in this. I'm like, holy shit. I was like, that was Yuffie. Like I read about like Yuffie's like in a different spot now. Like the party meester in Junan Undertown, the water area. I'm like, wait a minute.
You're actually saving her from Bottomswell.
Yeah. So I'm like, got to thinking like.
When those previews went up, I was like taken by some shock because like I think I first saw it was like the PlayStation blog.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, what? Then I went to YouTube, and then I saw like Easy Allies impressions. All these other people posting the videos. I was like, wait, what? They went to what? They actually had like went out to the offices and played it. Like, what is? Then I saw like screenshots of their videos of like Sephiroth and the Nibelheim. I was like, what is happening?
Like I was so overwhelmed because after the State of Play trailer, we got the PlayStation blog trail post about interview, and like IGN had a different couple of questions a little different. I'm like, this is a lot of information. Like we're set for a while, and then previews came out, and I watched Easy Allies and I watched Maxman Dude. And I'm like thinking to myself, like, I hope I can listen to the dialogue because the first demo you play is 20 minutes of the flashback. And just watching that, like, that's why I kept posting on Twitter/X. I'm like, the game's not even out yet. I mean, this game has emotionally destroyed me. Like, I was in tears. I was like emotional because it's like the whole flashback. Be able to play as Sephiroth, and Sephiroth is such a badass. And seeing Cloud, the way Cloud acts, he's literally Zack, right?
Oh yeah,
it's pretty much like this. It's like Caleb Pierce is like he's animating, he's mocapping Zack. Well, Cody Christian's like, don't worry about this, Chief. I know how to do the voice acting, and he nailed it so hard. I go, this is what Cloud is like in the flashback. I'm like, they nailed it. That's why I was just so emotionally destroyed. It's like, they destroyed me emotionally 3 times and the game's not out yet. Like,
yeah. I couldn't believe they were going to show this part. And I was just like, and then like, I immediately, the first sentence in the blog was, yes, Sephiroth is playable. I was like, oh my God. Like,
I know, it's like,
let's go.
So before the previews came out, like, there's like a little, I guess previews did come out, but people like didn't post it yet. It's like kind of late. So somebody's posting like a little bit of clips from like Sephiroth and Cloud's gameplay. It's like little clips, like 10-second clip.
Yeah.
I'm like, holy crap, like there's a lot going on here. It's like, what's going on? It's like, yeah, and somebody's like, yeah, I see this. Like, does anyone have Sephiroth's picture up here if he ain't playable? And like that was like so sick. Just seeing like Sephiroth playable and stuff, like the interaction between Cloud and Sephiroth, like it's just it hit hard, and like just seeing how different the gameplay was, like the verticality, like that's what I wanted. I wanted something different.
Where you're seamlessly going up cliffs, and you're like, there's like even alternate routes. Like you can take this ladder if you want, or you can go up this like little cliff steps and
Right.
just like climb up that way.
And some of the previews
And,
I saw, like there's like 4 or 5 materials you can pick up during the 20-minute playthrough of that demo.
Yeah,
And
I
one of
saw,
them is like level boost. You can like boost up your how fast you level up.
That's crazy.
And like
Yeah,
they had a few other ones too. I'm like, oh, spare
few...
change material. I'm like, I didn't see that in any of the previews I watched.
Yeah, I saw a video from like a German YouTuber.
Yeah.
And he was able to do like his own capture. So he was doing stuff that wasn't in the B-roll. Like he was going into sections of like, oh, there's like this little part of the reactor that's like next to this like fence where you're vacuuming up the Mako.
Yeah.
The fog. And there's this like little area and you go in, there's like a treasure chest and a couple enemies that you fight in there. It's like this little section. I'm like, holy crap, I didn't see, and I was like, I didn't see that in any of the other footage. This is sweet, you know?
Yeah, because they do have they have some rules they have to follow. Like you can only show this much. You can't go in all the rooms. You can't go go off exploring like show everybody this and the other thing, which is understandable. I don't want to be spoiled of every little hidden treasure chest and stuff.
Right. Yeah, me too. And they gave people a choice too. They were like, well, do you want to use the B-roll footage or do you want to bring your own equipment and like record it here?
Right. You know? I watched B-roll for both the demos. I watched there was probably 1 or 2 like kind of a little different, but not a whole lot. They didn't like do a whole lot of different stuff. They went in different areas like the Junon area. Which confirmation that yes, the party's still on the Beagle stamp timeline. So that's like, nobody's interior timeline other than Zach. So there goes my theory. There goes my camp. The people that believe that after the singularity, everybody's in the interior timeline. Not anymore. That theory's been shot. So it's like, all right. It's like, whoo.
Yeah.
Brain exploded.
I think the team knew that it was so important to have Sephiroth playable.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because remember after the teaser trailer, right? Everybody's like, is Sephiroth playable? Because Cloud's doing his own animations. It looks like once Sephiroth's coming into the picture and like he's acting like the controllable player. One of the interviewers actually asked Nomura. Nomura's like, we'll come back to that later on. He goes, I'll let you guys know. Like, I'll talk more about that later. Like, he's just like not saying a whole lot, but he's like basically confirming that he's playable. The way he acted in that interview.
Yeah, because the very first teaser, you could tell he's like in the foreground.
Yeah, so it's like, that's crazy. I just like.
His attacks look so sick too. Like,
I know he's got like different. It's like 4 different stance depending on like what he does. Like,
like he builds up this meter and then like he can change his stance and then he has like 2 different like triangle moves that he can do through that.
Yeah, and one of the synergized moves that him and Cloud does, like he heals Cloud for one of them.
Yeah,
which is pretty neat. I like that.
So cool.
And then. Yeah, I love the way Cloud looks, like with the double shoulder pads, just like Zach. Yeah, it's just like Zach with putting his hands on his hips. Like, and people complain about how Cloud doesn't look that young. I'm like, have you not seen screenshots of his face? I post the ones like he's hands on the hip, he's like not very happy, or he's got a big bright, young look on his face. Like, oh, Sephiroth said I did a good job. Oh, thank you. He's like such a puppy.
Oh yeah, he's like a Sephiroth fanboy.
Cloud looks like he's 16 years old in that one, and he is. 5 years ago, he's 16 years old.
Yep.
He definitely looks like he don't look like the current Cloud of nowadays.
Right, and they even show Tifa too.
And they show Tifa and like he's just swinging his arms. He's like, magic's pretty weird. It's like how when we run out, he's like, there's no way. He's like pointing at Tifa, and Tifa's like, whoa, this ain't Cloud.
Oh, this ain't, yeah. Oh,
like this ain't how Cloud acts.
There's gonna be so many people that are gonna be blown away by just what this whole section
and of course, people that played the preview, the first demo, you know what they did, right? use Cloud or his AK Zach. They moved up right next to the other the soldier grunt, the Shinya grunt. So yeah, you guys are the same. You guys are the same height.
Yeah, I wonder what's going on with this.
Yeah, you're the same height. If you look really careful, like the facial features of that guy underneath the Shinya helmet, the lower half of his face is exposed as Cloud.
Oh yeah, yeah, it's so funny. Like,
and they young. He yelled like. The way Cloud sounds, he sounds more like Zach, how Zach would act, but it's like Cloud, it's like Cody Christian's voice. But if you listen to the Shinra grunt, like he goes, "Hey, come with me," like that is 16-year-old Cloud saying that. Come with me, come. He's telling Tifa that. It's like, let's get out of here.
Oh yeah,
like,
yeah, they're doing
so little bit of details. I'm like, yeah, they get it. And of course, the one pose by Cloud and Sephiroth, the L'Oreal shampoo image.
Yeah, that's so great.
They had to do that.
Such a great meme.
And then before that, they did that. The Buster Sword and Masamune shot. So sick.
That's so cool. That team up move is so cool.
It is, and even Cloud's like, holy crap! Like, we're really doing this, and Sephiroth's like, pay attention.
To me.
Yeah, that's so sick. I can't wait. I know some people complain about how the preview, there's a couple of them say, yeah, the enemies are kind of too easy. It's like, well, yeah, you gotta overpower Sephiroth, and you're pretty high level at this point. You're probably level 50 almost. Well, Sephiroth is level 50. They checked his equipment. Well, you can't do anything with his equipment, but I think he's level 50 or something like that.
So crazy. Yeah, he's super overpowered. I mean, of course they're going to want to show how powerful he is.
Right. So if he's ripping through enemies, that's meant to be like that. He's supposed to rip through enemies.
Oh yeah.
So the game's going to be easy in that segment, other than if you're using just Cloud.
And you can still see in the footage there's enemies that you're fighting where you're still able to pressure and stagger and do the special moves.
Absolutely. Just because you're ripping through those little bugs in the beginning stage, just I mean, they're not supposed to be. They're supposed to be mobs. You got Sephiroth, you're all powerful. So.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's when it show off the menus, and at first I'm like, whoa, this ain't remake menu. And I got to think, it's they just took a page out of Loomis Productions Final Fantasy 15 menus.
They totally did.
I'm like, they totally did. But this looks even better than Final Fantasy 15 menu. And then, to be honest, after looking at it, I'm like, yeah, there's a lot more depth to it, and I love it way more than remakes menus.
And it zooms in on them too. If you the camera will zoom by them when you select them.
Oh yeah.
And then when you select them, it moves again and shows a profile of them.
Right.
It just looks.
It's just I love that, the attention to detail, and of course, everybody's talking about it. Everybody's speculating. But what in the hell are they standing on? What's behind them? Oh
yeah, the background.
It's feels is that part of the observatory? Is that the Temple of the Ancients? What the heck is this?
I'm thinking my guess is the Temple of the Ancients.
That's what I'm thinking too. It has to be, or something close to it.
Something close to it, yeah. Just because of those little circular entrances,
Right.
Reminds me of that part where you're following that old man through the.
Oh yeah. That's gonna be one of the. That's not gonna be the last dungeon. That's gonna be one of the bigger, one of the probably the second half of the game dungeon you're gonna go through, and it's gonna be beefy. It's gonna probably I wouldn't say 5 hours. It's probably gonna take you at least a couple hours to go through it.
Oh yeah,
they're gonna expand upon it. I can't wait.
Yeah, it's gonna be a whole thing. I mean,
and everybody's like, are the party members gonna have new weapons? I'm like, yeah. They're not gonna just stick with their main weapons forever. No. Speaking of weapons, and
they're gonna have new limit breaks too.
Yeah, you got new limit breaks. They changed the way you get your second limit breaks now. To be able to use them, you gotta use synergized attacks, and you get to store an extra limit break little hash bar thing. Then you get to use your level 2 limit break. At least for Cloud, that's how it works. That's so sick.
Yeah.
Anyways, to the TGS thing before we go to the Junon Harbor stuff, I just want to mention this to confirm it with all you guys that are going to be watching this at a later date, which I appreciate you guys showing up and watching this if you're watching this later on YouTube. Appreciate you guys a ton. This is my first ever FF7 Rebirth podcast. So feel free to like, subscribe, share with a friend, all that good jazz. Now, what I'm going to say to you guys, if you haven't watched Catch It, if you haven't watched the English version or even just the Japanese version, if you pause it around when they first show off like Madeline, or the girl that runs a shop inside a Chocobo Ranch, her name, she's in the original game apparently. If you pause it on her when they just show her shop and her standing behind her, if you look off to your right towards the back wall, there's a purple chest.
Oh yeah,
there's a weapon in there.
Yep.
So yeah, that confirms it, guys. We are getting weapons. Your very first weapon is either going to be in Calm, or when you get to Chocobo Ranch, that's your first weapon. Now, since Cloud is the main function of the Chocobo and Cloud's comparison, I guarantee you that's a weapon for Cloud. He's the first one to get his.
Absolutely. Yep.
And I would not be shocked if it's something completely different. I don't think we're gonna get the nail bat. I don't think we're gonna get the iron blade. I think they're gonna have different. They got a lot more different weapons. They got some brand new weapons they can come up with.
For sure.
But even got there's another weapon I want to see real bad is Heaven's Cloud.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that crystal sword, enchantment sword. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
The Apocalypse.
So and that new ability that he has is probably tied to that first brand new weapon that he picks up. It's called the Firebolt. A Firebolt blade, I think.
Yeah, he was using that before he got the Chocobo farm, though.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Or was he?
That move looks so sick.
Oh yeah, I love that. And if you probably haven't noticed it, probably have now. I noticed it too. And this is a game changer for aerial combat. Cloud uses that Firebolt sword attack, and he's swinging in midair. And you got the purple elephant, the variant of the blue elephants we fight, and the OG FF7. Well, he's about ready to attack Cloud, and Cloud hits the dodge button in midair while doing that move, and he dodges it.
That was so cool.
Like,
that was so sick.
It's like they get it. They understand. They want to change the aerial combat in this game, and they done it.
And that move just by itself launches you up in the air slightly.
Yeah, and like
there's like lightning bolt that strikes from underneath him.
Oh yeah.
Shoots him up. It shoots him up. His sword lights on fire, and then he does like 3 or 4 slashes.
Yeah, it's really deadly.
Like a finisher.
Really deadly. Like, I can't wait. And then you got the spell blade, which you can use. I think you use that anytime. You don't need pips because he's using that without having any abilities used.
Oh
as long as Eric's in your party, you can use spell blade. He used that with Sephiroth as well. Like that was unique. That's almost like Blade Beam. Or whatever they call it, Blade Burst in the remake.
Yep.
But I love that. It's so sick.
That's so cool. The range on it is insane. Like, you could probably hit like 2-3 enemies if they're lined up.
Oh, absolutely. That's crazy.
Oh man.
So crazy.
They made the synergy moves easier to pull off than in.
Each one, it's like everybody figured, well, you need at least 2 pips to do a move. No, like Cloud and Red 13, which does a lot of damage. It's what was it called? Like Vengeance, something Vengeance, I think it was. Or
it was like Overdrive something.
So, anyways, that takes 3 pips each.
That's
like
insane.
So imagine endgame. To do like the ultimate synergized attacks, you need to fill up all the pips, and that's like your main major attack. You do that during when the enemies are staggered.
So sick. Massive damage.
And be like, oh I just did like 99,999 damage.
99 damage. Oh man, that's gonna be so sick.
Like We only
Oh my gosh.
the thing is, what they shown us is only the first 5 hours of the game for combat.
Yeah.
Plus,
Yeah, of like the original.
they showed Red 13 and Yuffie doing a combo, and they're like higher levels, they're like over 3 to
Yeah.
4,000 HP. That's just a synergized move, and they showed Cloud and Barrett doing another move, and they're a little bit higher HP. But other than
and you
that,
could
like
tell.
we're not seeing much.
Yeah, you can tell some of those later synergy attacks. They're already across into the other continent.
Another thing we haven't seen too is like we haven't seen the skill trees yet.
Yeah, we have no idea what the
Skill trees, the characters trees, specialized trees.
Mm-hmm.
And then they did confirm. They showed it in the menu, the HUD. When you go to the menu and that, they do have weapon levels again. So.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So if you can probably learn, you can learn all your abilities. But in that build they showed, Cloud had like 4 or 5 different abilities. No, Aerith. Aerith had like 4 or 5 different abilities already. I'm like, yeesh.
Yeah.
She had Radiant Ward, ATB Ward, and like all the other wards. I'm like, holy crap! Like
that Radiant Ward, by the way, looked really cool.
It's that's different. I was like trying to figure out what the hell is that doing. They just shoots off in different directions. I'm like,
what's that even do? It's like this like glyph that shows up that's like really wide range.
And she has that. She has like that ward something for a triangle move. Apparently, if you lay down 2 different wards, she can transport over to each ward, so she can dodge enemy attacks, which is sick.
Yeah, that's so sick. Like shooting lasers all over the place.
And then she can do bodyguard and be like, "Cloud, protect me while I heal the party."
Yep, that's gonna be so helpful.
Yeah,
because that was the sort of the thing. The thing with like Aerith in the in remake is you had to do the dodge roll twirly thing away from enemies a lot.
Yeah.
So that bodyguard thing is going to be great because then you could hold R, do that guard thing, and then while someone's in front of you attacking, you could just shoot off more of your magic missiles and do all their crazy shit. Like
absolutely, it's crazy.
Yeah. One thing I wanted to bring up too about the battle system is and everyone in the party can do this is a parry, which is right before the enemy hits you. If you press R1, you like not only block the move, but like you like push the enemy back like a couple feet.
Yeah, and guess what? You don't take damage either. We get that from the Yuffie DLC. Thank the Lord.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, it says like in the Yuffie DLC, it's like it shows like immune or something like that in there. And,
and just think they're gonna add in parts. So like if you block this just right, you can have haste on your character, or barrier and barrier, or wall. May get wall and haste. May that be a final ability.
That'd be so cool.
So it's gonna be almost like kind of like Souls game where if you can master the parry, you busted the game. You busted it.
Yeah, and it does so much pressure to the enemy.
Right. Like, it's crazy.
They showed Red 13 doing it to one of those elephant things.
Yeah.
And it just like the pressure gauge on the enemy like went up like half. Like I was like, holy shit, this is crazy.
Yeah, this combat system is so more in depth. It's like it's gonna take people a while to get the hang. Like, especially everybody that like master the remake. Yeah, you master the remake combat system, but like this is more in depth. Like there's more to it than meets the eyes. Like you look in the menus, like all the abilities of the characters, like you got abilities, shortcuts while in the air, shortcuts on the ground. You can like there's like 4 slots for synergy abilities. So you can how many synergy abilities are we gonna have per character? It's like
I know per thing. It's like we only seen like one of them each so far. So it's like
or there's like 2 apiece they show as equipped, but they only show like one of each. Possibly they didn't show the other ones. Like
I remember in one of the Maximilian Dude videos, he was talking about some of the combat, and he says there's so much more you're doing to contribute to the ATB gauge. Like you're not you're not in a situation ever where you're just I got to run around and do the twirly dodge thing to fill it up. you could like while you're blocking, you can send off synergy attacks.
Right, and it builds up your ATB.
So much more.
Like, and now you got the parry. Now you can parry attacks, so you can survive another hit. It's like,
yeah, it's so much more you can do.
Yeah, it's so crazy, and like we've seen what, one ability by Yuffie and Barret. Like, we haven't seen Yuffie in combat much, other than intermission.
Right.
But that was just a testing ground, right? It's a testing ground.
Yeah, that was. Oh yeah, I knew right away from playing. Just like if you just play an hour into the Yuffie DLC, you're like, oh, this is absolutely what they're gonna bring to the table.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, like, I played a Yuffie DLC, and like you fight those two wolves that try to protect the rope guy. I died. I'm like, whoa, like.
Yeah, it's insane. It's
like, oh yeah, they expect you, like, you just beat Remake, you just fought Sephiroth, you can fight these two wolves. Come on.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, you make us wait almost a year later to fight these two wolves. Like,
yeah, and I just recently replayed both Remake and the Yuffie DLC, and it's just so wonderful.
And
so good.
Yeah, speaking of that, like that trailer, I'm like, I made a vow to people. I was like, yeah, I want to do hard mode on FF7R and Yuffie DLC, but this is the thing I want to see from Square Enix. I want to see a juicy trailer. I want to see a release date. I want pre-orders to go live. And sure enough, boom, boom, boom. Get all three in one sentence. I was like,
right in one thing.
So now I gotta, like, after things settle down with Rebirth news and I can slow down the content making, I'm still gonna make content on my channel, which with the Rebirth podcast and stuff like that. But it's like, after that I can sit down, play the PS5, and go through hard mode. I'm on chapter 11. I'm about almost halfway through chapter 11 on hard mode. So
nice.
Going through that, and then do the Yuffie DLC. Once I'm done with that, I'm ready. I'm ready for Rebirth.
Yeah, I'm prepared already. Like I got so excited with all this, just from the trailer, from the State of Play. That's when I was like, yeah, I'm gonna replay these. Like,
right. It's just like that trailer is just more than people thought. It's like people couldn't. We couldn't process everything all at once at first watching. It's like boom, 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 boom. It's like, especially in the middle of the trailer, it's like, slow down a little. I can't react fast enough. It's like,
what's so crazy is my recent replay of Remake. During the Wall Market chapter, I was doing different decisions, and I was like doing side quests I've never even done before. Like, I was like, what is this? Like, I've never seen this side quest.
Right.
Like, it was insane. Like,
yeah, there's like 2 different branches in chapter 9. Like,
yeah, like depending on who you go with like, there's a branch with Chocobo Sam. Yeah. And then there's one with Madam M.
Yeah.
And
the Madam M one is the nostalgia run.
Yeah.
Yep, Chocobo Sam, it's like, oh, like, the Angels of Slums needs help, and you fight the hooligans. But the thing is, now they got their bouncer, and it's just Cloud. Like, you gotta, like, ooh, I gotta run away.
Yeah, that's so funny.
Steal the championship belt.
Yeah. Oh, I love those guys. The due recompense.
And they're coming back. And I guess the leader's like, goodbye, chums. You guys fight them. I'm leaving.
That's so cool.
Yeah, well, it's so funny.
Yeah. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, I can't wait. It's like, like, having the world seamless, and just like, especially the Junon area, even though it's like closed off, you couldn't climb up the mountain with the Chocobo, or you couldn't go very far because it said blocked off because of demo limitations. It's just like
there's obviously gonna be like certain mountain points that you just won't be able to fill out the Fog of War like just yet. Like, not until you get there.
Well, they said that there's gonna be some areas kind of blocked up because of story progression, but you can basically go anywhere in the world once you unlock things and you have the equipment to do it. Yeah, you can go like reverse into the map and like go to any. That's why I was flipping out and like getting emotionally destroyed after like that one post by Final Fantasy VII page, and they kind of deleted it. I'm like, I wonder if they posted that too soon, Like something's going on.
Yeah.
And they confirmed like the tiny Bronco. I'm like, no freaking way.
Like, yeah.
Like
I remember
they confirmed that. It's like, dude, it's like we're gonna have a whole bunch of like things to do now. Like with the tiny Bronco.
Crazy. I remember seeing your tweet about that, and they had like the googly eyes, and I was like, oh shit. And then you posted it. I was like, oh, they deleted it. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
They did it like 15 minutes before noon, so that someone posted it early.
Yeah, I'm like,
they're like, oh,
like more information. It's like then you read it. It's like, yeah, the devs get it. Like the tiny, like they said vehicles, and I'm like, they said vehicles. Like you get the tiny, you get the buggy, you got chocobos, and you got segways, but it's like they said vehicles.
Yeah.
And people's like, people saw that tiny Bronco was confirmed in there. They're like, people say, yeah, they just soft confirmed that Sid's involved.
Oh, that's so cool.
And it's gonna play out the same way as like the play. They say, yeah, tiny Bronco's gonna be flyable just until the certain situation happens where it won't be flyable again. It's like, yep, they get it.
Oh yeah, they get it.
All we're missing now is this, where they come out and say, yes, Palmer's in Rocket Town. Yes, he gets hit by a truck.
Oh, of course, yeah. That's my favorite comedic scenes in the OG game. Yeah, and they're absolutely gonna do it. Like, there's no way they won't do it. Like, it's gonna be great.
Right. He'll get bumped. He'll get like hit, and then he's like gone. That's the last time we see him too. So he's dead.
Oh yeah, he pretty much Oh my gosh.
Yeah, wiped out by a semi truck.
All this.
I can't wait.
What's so crazy about this game? This whole project is like, we don't even need our imagination anymore. They're just gonna do everything in the original game up to the scale that it is now, and it's like mind blowing, like what we're seeing, you know. Because with the original game, you kind of had to, you know, it was still great. I mean, it was ahead of its time even back then, but you still had to kind of add your imagination to it a little bit to kind of fill in the blanks, some of the stuff.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like you had to. Like you had blocky polygons in 1997.
Yeah,
and it's
right. Yeah,
people don't realize this. Like you don't realize that's Squaresoft's first attempt at a 3D game.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, and even back then, it was like kind of groundbreaking. But
it was, especially the cinematic cutscenes. Like people's like, we're watching a dang movie. Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Like, you don't see this in any other game. Then, of course, what happened? Like, Metal Gear Solid took inspiration. The Resident Evil games, you name it. Like,
oh yeah, this is so crazy. Like, I even love one of the names of your videos. Like, how is this possible?
Right. It's just like, I'm serious. It's like watching the TGS. I'm like, how is this possible? Like the demos and stuff like that. Like, I know the first demo was like more like cutscene heavy, and it had combat stuff there. I'm like, it's like this is great. And then you get to Junon Harbor, and they have a little like area, then they show off like everything you explore, and like the little chocobo you can pet. Like, it's like, can you pet the dog? The little thing on Twitter now. Can you pet the dog? Like, can you pet this? Like, yeah, I can pet Torgo. I can pet the chocobo.
Yep, they thought of everything. It's so crazy.
And it's like, yeah, you don't see that in Tears of the Kingdom. The dog's sitting there go, give me belly rubs, and you can't rub them.
Oh yeah.
The Nintendo hardware can't handle that.
No.
not cutting down Nintendo. Just, I don't know if they added any petting in there, but it's like, maybe they will in Switch 2 that's coming next year. But
there's supposedly there was a rumor about maybe 3 weeks ago or something.
Yeah.
That said that the Switch 2 is gonna have like remake as a launch title possibly.
Yeah, and everybody said maybe they'll have Elden Ring on there.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Can you imagine that? Elden Ring sold close to 30 million copies. Imagine if Switch 2 users get to play it.
I know, so nuts. But yeah, I remember tweeting a couple times saying, you know, like, I would share like Maximilian Dude's reaction videos to this stuff, and it's just like, Yeah, if you want any idea of how I'm reacting to it, just watch these. This is
Right.
exactly how I am. It's almost exactly like I can't even believe what I'm looking at. You know,
Right. It's just like it's just crazy. It's like, yeah, well, even like the translation of TGS is kind of like a little annoying, but it's like they're on stage, not really on stage with everybody, but like they gotta keep up with all these words, and like there's so many people talking, so they gotta pay attention to who they gotta translate for.
Oh yeah.
So it's like
you can tell on the second day of TGS, they actually had like scripts prepared.
Yeah.
Because the translators were speaking way more like concise.
And like
they were
I was
just going off a script.
I was trying to watch the interview. Probably they had like a transcripted one. I was watching like the Japanese one because of like the Samsung thing. Like they have more interviews. Are you gonna show more stuff? But no, it's just answering questions and stuff.
Yeah, I just saw that stuff later, the translations.
Yeah, and it's pretty much like, yeah, and they're leaving like the first draft like is complete, but kind of like open up. Like if they gotta make changes like gameplay stuff, a lot of people flipping out, and I was kind of at first I'm like, please don't go back on your word. Just don't go back and make it a 1-for-1. You're already going this route. Like you're just gonna wait for reactions of people of Rebirth and be like, yeah, we gotta cut all this stuff out. We can't have anything new or anything twisting turns and all this. Like stick with your plan. Stick with your plan. You said most of the stuff's gonna be faithful. With stuff for the Zack stuff, that's new. But it's like just keep your ideas going.
Sure.
You know, keep it going. Don't change. Don't go back. If you go back, you just make it more worth. Because everybody's on the fence. Like even like Nice Guy Prince, he loves the gameplay. He loves the direction of like just like the world and like the activities and stuff like that. It's like this is like a Final Fantasy. That's what Final Fantasy 7 is. The only question he has is like, yes, they can make an awesome beginning and an awesome middle. It's like, can they nail the ending? Can they nail the ending? Because a lot of games can do that. They start off with a good first half, the middle, and at the ending just he's worried about them nailing the ending. He goes, I'm here for the trip, which is cool. Because at first he's like, remake ruined it for me. He is one of those ones, but he got back on board.
I know. Yeah, I have absolute faith in this team.
Yeah, they're gonna nail it because they've been working on concepts and stuff for this whole trilogy, this whole project. Like what exactly we're gonna do, how many parts. They was doing all that back in 2012.
Yeah.
But Katase came up to Nomura and like Toriyama, whoever it was, and be like, hey guys, I know it might sound crazy, but I know we're getting older now, and I would love to start working on Final Fantasy VII Remake. They looked at him, go, is this guy for real? Is he crazy in the head? They talked amongst themselves. It's like, oh hell yeah, let's do it. Before we get too old.
They kind of all agreed. They were like, yeah, I mean, we're getting up there, and the original fans of the original game are getting up there within years. You know, I'm gonna be 42 in October, so
yeah,
it's
I'll be 35 when this game launches.
Wow, yeah. So we're in that same ballpark.
Yeah, it's just like by the time the FF7 trilogy is done, we got a chance to talk about it for like a year or so. Like I'm gonna be upper 30s, almost 40 then.
I know it's insane.
You're gonna be upper 40s, almost pushing 50 by then.
50. I know, it's so crazy to think about. Like this game that came out on PS1 back when I was like 16. Like crazy. It's crazy.
I was 8 years old. I'll explain how I got into Final Fantasy 7. I was more into like I started out with the NES, right? I had Mario, I had Sonic, I had Zelda. So I had a Sega Genesis, along with the NES. So we played that. I played like the old style Zelda. And of course Castlevania, whatnot. So I played those. So then we got into like the N64, and I was really into Nintendo then. I was like, the Sega Genesis went over with. Like I never got another Sega console. It was all just Nintendo. One from NES,
Yeah,
Super
I was a
SNES,
Nintendo kid too.
N64, and then after N64, well, N64 came out. Parents decided to buy us a PlayStation 1. That introduced me to games like Crash Bandicoot, Spyro games. I can think of like Gran Turismo. I played the old style Gran Turismo back then. I loved it. Had fun. My brother got into some Resident Evil, but I wasn't really into horror games much. But then
Resident Evil blew my mind. Resident Evil was the reason I bought a PlayStation.
Yeah.
This was still knowing that 7 was coming out. But I knew that was coming out like that fall, so like 96.
Right.
But you're just hearing rumblings from Japan in magazines about Final Fantasy 7 at that point.
Right, because this is the story about FF7 before I continue how I got into Final Fantasy 7. Squaresoft was at a time where Final Fantasy 6 came out. It was a smashing hit, right? It's like it didn't have like cinematic cutscenes, but it had some cutscenes, right? It didn't have like what Final Fantasy 7 did back in '97. No. But FF6 was like their standing ovation. Everybody goes, "This is it. This is their grand finale." Not grand finale, but like, what the hell are they gonna do for Final Fantasy 7? Well, at the time, everything's transitioning over to 3D. So they've been with Nintendo for Final Fantasy for all their time, right? Since 1987. Oh yeah. So it's like there is that crossroad. They got the N64, and Sony had the PlayStation 1 coming out with the CD, right? Not the cartridge, but CD. CD has more data you can store. It has like faster RAM or something. I don't know. It's like all technical terms.
Music, better music.
Yeah, like they can have like better music, like soundtracks and stuff like that. They can do more of that because they tried a test right on N64 at the 3D demo.
It was like a 3D Final Fantasy 6 demo. I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember downloading a little like QuickTime movie of that. That was back when QuickTime was like a movie player, and it was like so tiny. It was so the trailer was so tiny on the screen. It was ridiculous at that point. But back then it was like amazing. But yeah, that's how I saw that trailer.
Yeah, it's crazy. I saw like gameplay of that, and Square was not happy. Squaresoft was not happy with how it turned out. It was like, it's like, this is not what we want. Like they even had different ideas for like Cloud, like how Cloud's gonna look. Like I think they had like he's gonna have like black hair or something and be like something weird, different. They had original designs of Cloud, which look okay. But yeah, now this is when they said, you know what, we're gonna side with Sony. Sorry, Nintendo, we're gonna side with Sony. That was like the best decision in their life because
back then it was considered like at first like the ultimate betrayal. Like
and people's like, what? Like Squaresoft is teaming up with Sony? Like this ain't normal.
Yeah, it was unheard of at the time. There was never. I mean, there were still the console wars with like Genesis and stuff, but never
right,
more than two.
Nintendo was like the head honcho, right? Nintendo was way up there, right? Nintendo was blowing people away.
There was never a third entry into the consoles.
And so Square had like they had a lot of people working on FF7 because Sony came out and said this to say, hey, we'll help budget your game. We're gonna market this thing like crazy. It was on everything: billboards, TV, cups, gas stations, you name it. Like they even had trailers, like just cinematics, and just like they even tell them kind of like a little bit of fibs. It's like they show a little bit of gameplay. It's like it gets even better. It becomes all action later. Like you're gonna be mind blown by this. Like get this, FF7. Somebody like they even tease Aerith's death. Like life and loss and like. The hero, can he like recover and like holy crap, like
the US commercials were like, this is the cinematic experience of a movie in your home. Like it's just,
And like
it was
so,
crazy.
so Square had a, you know what the budget is with FF7? This was unheard of back then. $45 million.
That's yeah. Wow.
Back in '97,
Comparatively,
that is a big, massive budgeted game. And someone goes, "Well, handle marketing," but here's the deal. This is early 1996. They had to get the game done and ready to launch in Japan in early 1997.
yeah.
1 year.
January.
And they said they were just sweating. They had to make cuts. Like, they had to cut a few things out. Like, they couldn't make Yuffie and Vincent, like, playable, like, mandatory characters, like, just optionals. Like, just throw them in there. They won't have any, they won't have any dialogue and, like, cinematic cutscenes or nothing.
I think I remember an interview about that.
Yeah, so it's like, it was crazy. Like, they did not know that this game was going to sell. It's like I think it's like one of the select few to sell like 1 million copies on PlayStation 1.
Oh yeah, it was the game that popularized RPGs in the West.
So for me, it wasn't the commercials, it wasn't the trailers, it wasn't even seeing stuff in stores. My first interaction with Final Fantasy VII, I stayed at my cousin's place. And he had a PlayStation 1, and I was like 8 years old, 9. I don't remember if it was like 97 or maybe it's just like it's like 98. The game was still selling on the shelves by then, right? It's still popular. The game stayed on shelves for a while. I was watching my cousin play this game, and it's like he's at the battle arena, just battling. There's some monsters. There's some like he's summoning like these summonal monsters and like all the flashiness and the numbers on the screen and like Cloud with a badass sword. I'm like, what game is this? I'm like, I'm intrigued. I'm like watching him. I don't remember the conversation we had, but I went home after that. I'm thinking to myself like, man, I love to. I don't think he let me play it. I was too young at the time. But yeah, that very same year, Christmas, we had a PlayStation 1. I remember we had the Christmas light bells around our arch, and it made like Christmas noise and stuff like that. And they had it as a present for me and my brother for the PlayStation 1. We opened it up. It was Final Fantasy VII.
Amazing.
Played it, loved it. Put so many hours on it as a kid. I did not know anything about chocobo breeding or Knights of the Round or any of these special material. I was only 8, 9 years old, and I beat Sephiroth the hard way. I grinded a little bit of levels. I didn't understand a whole lot, like material combos and stuff. I understood the basics, like, ooh, all material with cure, that makes it cure your parties. Cool. Wow. But I fought Sephiroth and Bizarro Sephiroth the hard way. And it's like, it probably took me a couple of tries, but finally beat him. Like, oh. Finally beat him. Like, holy crap. And then, of course, as you got older, I found a guidebook. It's like, chocobo breeding. Nice for rounds. Like, what the hell? It's like, of course, like a cheat code. You just do that once against Bizarro Sephiroth, dead. Do it once against Safer Sephiroth, dead. And of course, the limit breaker, Omni Slash against real Sephiroth. I was like, okay, he's done.
Oh yeah, that's such a great final moment in the game.
That's my first exposure to FF7s. Like, saw my cousin play it. That's
pretty impressive for that age, you know.
To be honest, like, that was my first RPG, JRPG. Like, it got me into.
That's so cool.
What it got me into? Star Ocean till the end of time on PS2.
Oh yeah.
Other Final Fantasy game like FF8 was my next game I played. When that came out, played it, loved it. I wish I guess like a remake one of these days. It deserves it. Like Squall and them, like their characters and stuff like that. It's so good.
That's so cool.
I didn't play 9.
So
I went to 10. This 10 like blew me away graphically. It's like, what the hell? Like play 7, 8, go to 10's like they're just showing off.
The jump to 10 was crazy, and I actually, this is insane. Like, this is probably a story for another podcast, but I actually went to the E3 in 2001. Really? Yeah, with my friend we went right out of high school. It was a graduation present from my parents to fly out there because at the time I worked at GameStop, which was before that it was called Babbage's,
Yeah.
and I worked there my senior year of high school. So and then after that a little bit. So I used that and I got my badge and we went there and that was the E3 they showed Final Fantasy X and it was playable. I actually played it at the show.
Oh man, I bet he's like, whoa, like this is cool.
This was it was insane.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
that was like 19. Yeah, 19 at the time.
wow.
Yeah.
I was like 7 years, like 2001. I was like 7 years before I graduated.
Oh yeah.
So I was still, I was about 11, 12 years old when that came out. But yeah, I love that one. But yeah, it got me in like Star Ocean till the end of time, PS2. I also played like the Xenosaga series, all three.
Oh yeah.
Loved them.
Yeah, I like
I
the
wish that
Xenosaga.
Bandai Namco stopped being so stubborn and stop saying no like a remaster or a remake, because I know they had like 6 games total they want to do, but they cut it down to 3 because I don't know what the hell happened. But the characters, the game, the music, the gameplay is like
so cool.
And that game is like really, even though it's rated T, it should have been rated M. There's a lot of like really dark scenes in that game.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that game, that series is no joke. Like, it's really dark and depressing.
Yeah, it is. Like, I even when I was playing it as a kid, I was like, "Holy crap!" Like, this is. So in that, and I got into like I have a hard time pronouncing these, but I call them Sakoden.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the series I played a little bit of 3, but 4 and 5 were my favorites.
That was a series. That was a series I wasn't into. My friend growing up was like really into them.
Yeah.
And I was the person back then where it was like, if this isn't Final Fantasy, I ain't playing it.
Yeah, and that's understandable. But yeah, FF7 is my exposure for JRPGs and RPGs.
So
like,
cool.
Yeah, FF7 means a lot to me. Like, sure, remake beats OG FF7 Midgard by a lot. Rebirth is looking to like surpass OG's part of that segment. We'll see how the story beats are, but like, that's why like remake Rebirth is probably 1. FF7's like 2, and of course FF10 is 3rd. Like, I can't get past that game being like anything better than 16 is up there as well, but like after playing, like, you start thinking about the story elements of that game, it's like first time through, it's a 9 out of 10. The second time through, yes, the story does hit. Like, I still remember all the story sequence, but there's some moments in that game, it's like, you know what? This is good for a first time through, but like, doesn't really make any sense. Like, I don't know if have you beat 16 yet or no?
Oh yeah. 16 is my favorite Final Fantasy.
Yeah, it's my game of the year. I can't take away the first playthrough. Like, my jaw was dropped. I'm like, I sat back and I'm like, after one of my part whatever, I'm like, I don't smoke, and I was like, I need a cigarette.
Oh yeah. It's it currently sits at my favorite Final Fantasy of all time.
It's probably like, 3rd or 4th for me. But if I go back and replay again, there's one segment in the story that kind of don't make any sense now. That it's Clive where he has to accept the truth, right? Such a badass scene. Like, you're like Devil Trigger, like Dante versus like the other half of Dante all fighting each other. Like,
oh yeah, you're fighting your inner demon.
Your inner demon. I love that.
That was so cool.
But the impact of that for the second time through is like, once you find out the story, I'm like, it kind of loses flavor because Joshua didn't die; he's alive.
Yeah, the story structure of that game loses the potency when you do a replay.
Yeah,
I mean, it's still pretty cool to watch and everything, but it's
right. Just the first time through
differently than
is the best. Like, it's a 9 out of 10. The only issues I have is like it's got a lot of offline FF14 style like questing
Yeah.
And sometimes like
I w-
you got a lot of
I will.
highs, and it stays high for a while, the story. Then once it gets to
Mhm.
like a low, and you gotta like help what's their face like build engines and stuff like that, which I don't mind. Like you get a lot of character interactions, but a lot of the
Mhm.
time it's like, yeah, talk to this person, talk to this person. I'm like, I get it. It's an offline FF14.
Right.
And a lot of
Yeah.
the
It's
side
like I
quests,
love.
I did all the side quests, and I beat the game in like 70 hours. I'm like, they could cut this side quest in like
Mhm.
in half and make half of them
Right.
even better. It's like,
Yeah. And they're pretty redeemed by the end of the game, like the
oh
side
yeah,
quests that are
the
in
ending where
game.
like the
Right?
Joshua quest, Torgal, and like Dion, and like
Yeah.
Joshua, like
This
the
is so
like
cool.
Joshua
Yeah.
and like Clive moment, like their father's helmet, like visiting the grave.
Oh, that
Like
was so cool.
I,
Yeah.
I love that. I even love the part where you gotta like visit the soldiers, dying soldiers, like grave, his mother and father's grave, and like give his
Mhm.
ring to them, like his final goodbye. Like
Right.
even that little thing was like, wow, it's like this is
That's what. That's why I loved. I mean, I do understand people's thing about like, oh man, the side quests are just you're kind of just you're like the template, like the template for the side quests are very samey to other
yeah,
games. Like, oh, you gotta, oh, you collect 5 of this thing, bring it here, I'll make a recipe.
right.
You gotta clear out this thing, clear out this monster. That's fine. But what I liked about it was, yeah, you're doing these kind of samey things, but the story tied to them what
Yeah, the
made me
world
want to go do
building's
them.
fine.
Like
That's what I like about it. I love the world
yeah, the
building.
world building. Yeah, the
That's
world
why
building
I
is
gave it a 9 out of 10. I was gonna say, you know what, I could be a little more rough and be like, yeah, I kind of lost like the thunder of side questing and that. Like I could have made it like an 8.5 or 8 out of 10, but it's like the first time playthrough, like the story and like being immersed and like the characters, the combat, the locations, just like
it felt like it's kind of weird to say, but like it felt like the series grew up with me,
yeah.
and this was it just I don't know, it just hit at a right time in my life, I think.
It did.
I'm like,
It hit everybody. I know a lot of people probably said, yeah, 16 was
oh, it's
fine, but like,
too serious. Like I
yeah,
heard the complaints was like, oh, it's too serious. And it's like I actually love that about it
yeah, I loved
because
it too. I think what lost its charm. I know Yoshi P said that. Well, because what the story is and stuff, we can't have like too much Final Fantasy silliness in it.
that's true.
I
Yeah,
get
I mean,
that.
that makes sense.
Final Fantasy
Makes
is
sense.
supposed to have silliness. It's supposed to have some funny moments to
Right.
keep you like,
Yeah.
oh, take a break from the seriousness for a little bit. Like FF7, man. It's a serious
Right.
game.
Yeah,
It's about
exactly.
life and loss. It's about sacrifices and all that. But it's got silliness. So much silliness. It's like
Yeah.
you
And I
love
think
it, right?
I think where they nailed it in 16 with that is
Yeah.
they didn't do like over the top silliness stuff, but
Yeah.
I think what they did is some of the dialogue.
Yeah,
in
some of the
certain parts
dialogue with the
were
characters,
funny.
especially like Sid.
Funny. Oh yeah.
Sid is like that's like probably the best Sid I ever heard out of all the Final Fantasies I played. Now I'm still waiting for Rebirth Sid. I'm still waiting to see how he sounds, how he acts. But right now, FF16 Sid Talaman is the best,
the greatest.
the greatest.
Yeah.
Shout out to what's it, Ralph Ennison.
Oh,
He nailed it.
Yeah. He's perfect. Yeah, I knew right away who he was. I was like, oh shit, that's amazing. But yeah, my top 3 games are 16, 6, and 7.
Yeah, I almost beat 6, but I gotta go back. Probably play that on my Switch. I do have the physical copy of the Pixel Remaster, which
Oh yeah, yep, me too.
I'm
Yep,
so
that's
happy.
That's the first one I went to, and I was so happy with that version. It's the best version of 6, pretty much. And
the only Final Fantasy games I do not own, either physically or digitally, is 11 and 14. I own them. I own all the main lines other than those 2.
oh wow, yeah, me too. Yep,
It's like
same.
I'm ready. I'm ready for Rebirth. I'm ready for.
Ready. Oh yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like
Long story short on the 7 original, I was already into Final Fantasy at that point. I played Final Fantasy 2, which is 4 on Super Nintendo.
oh yeah,
And I got introduced with the series with that because I went over to my friend's house and he was playing it, and I was like, "What is this? You're like on a menu selecting stuff. I've never seen in a game like this. Like, but it was like cool spell effects. I was like, oh, I think I could get into this. And then like you're walking around the mode 7, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Just like,
I remember.
whoa, this is cool.
I remember Final Fantasy 2 or /4, whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then 6 was amazing, of course, and then the build up to 7 was ridiculous. Like I would just pray that my mailman would bring a magazine like EGM. I had EGM and GamePro subscriptions at the time.
Nice.
And I was like, I wanted the next article or update on that game, like, because I mean, plus back really when there was no internet, so you had
you had to get magazines from like from the stores and stuff, like or sign up for it. And it's like, was it like it wasn't one of the video game magazines like the big hit games that are coming out, like I think what's it called, the Power magazine?
Oh, I think there was one that focused on Japanese games called Game Fan. I don't know if you remember that one.
No, I don't think I ever heard of that one. It's neat though.
Yeah, it was called Die Hard Game Fan, and they covered import games, and that's when I first saw screenshots of Final Fantasy 7.
And you know what really caught people is the box art. Just a badass soldier with a giant sword, and kids go, "Wow, I want that!"
This is amazing. Yeah,
look at that giant sword on that character's back, and like dressed up as a soldier, looking up at like a tower. Like,
so cool. I remember my mom picked up the pre-order. We had a pre-order for it, and I knew I was gonna get it, but she was like, just wait until your birthday next month, because it was like September 7th is when the release date for was. And my birthday is October 11th, so I was like, oh yeah, I can wait. I know I'm getting it, so this is sweet.
I wonder if they ever did collector's editions back then.
No, that wasn't really a thing back then.
That wasn't a thing till what? Till like PlayStation 2.
Like PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, especially that. PlayStation 360.
I was wondering about that. It's like, man, I wonder what FF7 OG collector's edition would be like. Like,
oh, I know. Yeah, it's. I still got. A friend of mine sold me like a stack of like 10 PS1 games.
Oh yeah.
And Final Fantasy 7 was one of them.
Oh man.
So I got the greatest hits version, which is like the green banner.
Yeah, green. The hard one to get now is the one with the original black.
Yeah, that's a really hard one to get. But yeah, I came home from school that day, and it was at the front door on the chair, next to the door, with a note that said "Happy Birthday." It was like early, like I got it on day 1 instead of my birthday. So.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Yeah. So many good memories tied to it.
Oh yeah, so as you guys can tell, we're definitely big fans of 7, and we're just looking forward to Rebirth. There's so much more to go through. Like we still can go break down everything from TGS and all that.
Yeah, we can fill in 2 other podcasts easily with this. But
yeah, we definitely can.
Fun. This was fun.
Yeah, we're in about 2.5 hours now.
Nice.
Is there anything else you want to talk about? As I got a little bit of extra time.
Yeah.
Anything on Rebirth you want to cover? As I know we didn't cover everything.
Yeah, that pretty much covers it. Just I like just all the extra added flourishes to the battle system, and like even some of the regular attacks are different. Like Cloud's Punisher mode is like a completely different animation. Like he's suddenly like swinging wildly back and forth, like he's like almost teleporting back and forth.
Yeah, well, that's a new animation for Punisher mode now, which is great. Yeah. I love it.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
The other one's fine. I love remakes. As I always use the Punisher mode mostly. I do use the operator mode, but I love the Punisher mode to like start building things up. I can counterattack, but you still do that with his blade.
Yeah. What I love about Punisher mode in remake is it's an automatic parry when you get hit.
Oh
And it's
yeah,
actually
like it's so sick.
and it's actually mandatory for some of the fights because there's an enemy type in the first Mako reactor. Uh, those I forget what they're called now. They're the Shinra uh, soldiers that have like the little pointy spike arms and they're kind of flipping around and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And if you try to hit them regularly, it'll be like miss. Like
Right.
they're dodging it, and so you just wait for them to attack, and you go into Punisher mode and block, and then you immediately hit that Punisher parry, and it just staggers the shit out of them. Like it's just
Oh
crazy.
yeah, like some of this, like combat's so much more fun in Rebirth. Like I know we don't have our hands on it yet, but like my goodness,
Well,
man, it's like
we can already tell like it's gonna be.
You can tell by just how it plays. Everybody says it plays just like Remake, but it's like it's so much more in depth, which I love.
Yeah.
They changed a lot of stuff. Even like bosses have better, like, yes, bosses still have phases where, yeah, you can't damage them any further than this still has a little the stop symbol thing.
Oh yeah, where it goes to the cutscene.
Yeah, so you still gotta worry about that. I don't know if they.
Yeah.
I don't know how they deal with like the limit breaks and that. Maybe the limit breaks will still go away after each battle. We don't know yet. I haven't really paid attention to any of the previews for that. But yeah, I love the item crafting. I think that's smart. Besides just like just buy a whole bunch of potions.
Oh yeah,
and you can like
definitely for that.
They said I'm gonna talk about this real quick. They even stated that you can. It's not just for items. It's also for like to upgrade your armor sets. Your armor pieces, or even make armor out of it.
I believe it. That's gonna add so much to it.
And a lot of people said, I'm just gonna run around on foot. It's like, yeah, but if you have a chocobo, like Max Medusa said this, he's like, I'll just roam around like the Junon area, and like he wasn't just like the chocobo found something, he sniffed it, and it was a ruby. It's like a rarity 8 item, like.
Oh yeah.
Like there's gonna be a whole bunch of stuff we're gonna miss if we're not paying attention.
Yeah, and just using the chocobo alone, with like you were saying, like getting those items, it's like that mini game in Final Fantasy IX, Chocobo Hot and Cold.
Oh yeah.
It detects items and stuff. So there's that part, and.
So I'm thinking to myself, they said it's like 35 to 40 hours for the main story and like 100 hours for the grand adventure. I'm like, Square, that might be for the average player. You're talking about FF7 fans and people that love to explore and like play the mini games over and over and over and over and over and like do everything in the game. Like, you're looking at, we're gonna have like 150, 200, maybe 250 hours in Rebirth alone.
Oh yeah, I can easily see myself clocking in like 200 hours. Just
because I'm looking at the first area, like the grassland area. I'm like, you guys did that in a half hour, just run through a bunch of crap and like showed us a couple of things. Like, I'm gonna explore this whole area, grassland area, and do everything. And it's gonna take me it might take me 20, 25 hours just for grassland.
Just on that, I know, me too. Like, I don't even want to go to the Chocobo farm until I fill out that part of the map. Like, I just want to walk. I just want to run on foot and go to like every corner.
Yeah, like you can grind in this game. I don't know how enemies work for as respawn, but like it's like it's crazy.
They definitely did in remake.
They spawn after a while, so it's probably when you if you go through this side of the map, you start working way around the other side of the map. Maybe by the time you come back, the enemies come back. So I'm gonna grind. I'm gonna grind a few levels.
Yeah. Oh man, or maybe every time you go to every time you go to a settlement, like a Chocobo farm or Calm. Yeah. It probably resets the map for like enemy placement.
I'm so happy that we got checkpoints. Like you can just interact with the Chocobo. Like we start talking about how you can pet the Chocobo, and apparently it depends what area you're in. Like Chocobo, the little Chocobo chicks will be different looking and they'll have different reactions. And I don't know if you paid attention, but when Cloud goes to sleep and he wakes up, the Chocobo chick is sleeping as well.
It's sleeping right up.
It's so adorable.
Yeah, he's like.
And the silliness is the party member's just sitting there, standing there, go, "Wow, when are you gonna wake up?"
That's so good. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah, I could easily spend probably 30 hours in just that opening continent.
Yeah,
alone.
and like the fact that you can swim, you can like verticality, like jump up stuff, and like Horizon, like Horizon Assassin's Creed up this wall, or it's just like, and the when it showed Cloud, like that's like no freaking way. There's a barrier here. There's no way he can jump off this cliff. He's jumped down this whole cliff.
He jumped down.
I'm like,
oh yeah.
How is this possible?
Yeah, I was like, what am I even looking at? And then they jump in the river real quick and swim, and I'm like, oh,
yeah, it's like,
swim?
Like Air's don't know how to swim, her dress is floating, and here comes a doggy paddle.
Oh yeah, that's so great. There's gonna be so many moments where you could probably like, oh, I wonder if I can swim around this like little island area, and then like around the continent a little bit.
Oh yeah.
And then there'll be just like a hidden beach with like a treasure chest there.
Yeah, I can't wait. Like just everything about this game is just screams like this is a love letter to FF7 fans, and those of you who are starting your adventure with Remake or even Rebirth as a whole, like get ready. If you're into JRPGs, RPGs, or action RPGs, any of the above, like, and you're really intrigued by Rebirth, like, everybody's in for a wild ride. It doesn't matter if you're a newbie, veteran, in the middle.
Or if you're even new to like action RPGs, it's a perfect game for that because even in Remake, you can, the command menu where you.
And I know some people are asking. They was asking around on Twitter, even asking me. It's like, dude, it's like, I know they changed the combat a little bit. You think they still got classic mode for people that can't handle action combat? So yes, they confirmed it. Classic mode is back.
Classic mode. Yep, exactly.
Now the only thing I do wish, I'm not like these people. I don't play games on hard right away. Like I'm not a big hard mode guy. That's why I kind of put off Remake's hard mode for a while.
Right.
I would like it if they had hard mode up front, like have a hard mode up front for people. Then maybe when you get done, you can have New Game Plus. You can play on Final Fantasy mode or something.
Right. Like
or Cloud may must die or something like that. Or no, my favorite one is Soldier. What was it? Soldier First Class mode.
Yes, that'd be great. I remember before 16 came out, people were calling the game Devil May Clive.
Yeah, I know, right?
So good.
Yeah, it's so good.
Because my buddy of mine, who I grew up with, he's not too into like action RPGs.
Yeah,
and he even played this on classic mode, and he thought it was great.
Oh yeah,
because he liked watching them do the moves while waiting for the bar to come up, like he was used to, and selecting magic and all that stuff. And
it's basically so turn-based. It's just you see more action on the screen. Just say your character's just bopping up and down, waiting for the ATB bar to build.
Right. Yeah, you're just doing stuff to increase those things,
Right. It's just like it's for people. Like I'm pretty sure Square is smart. They did it in like the integrate where they add in like the classic mode normal, so that way people like classic mode, but like easy, the easy classic mode is like I'm whipping through these these enemies too fast. Like, yes, the enemies, like my characters are killing these enemies off without me even doing a combat, a command. Like,
right, yeah.
So it's like if they add in the normal or even possibly like classic hard.
That'd be crazy.
Yeah, they haven't even told us difficulty options for this game yet. It's funny they already told us usually when it gets closer to launch, like maybe a month before the game comes out, we finally find out how much storage, like data this thing's gonna take. But they told us already. It's like 150 gigs. Like already, you're gonna tell you're this confident? Like they're confident in their game. It's like, here, you want to see open world? You want to see seamless seamless world? You want to see combat? You want to see some story? You want to see previews already? We're gonna have like a 30-minute segment of showing off the world. We're not afraid.
Big old smorgasbord, and they're so proud of it too. Like,
yeah,
that's what I love about this is like the team is so confident, and they just can't wait to show the game to people.
Like Hamagoshi got to the point where during this 30-minute segment, like the Morris sitting there, he's watching from the little screen. He's on a laptop that fans can't see at TGS. But he's just like a booming voice. At the end, like when it's all Japanese, when the stream cut off, he goes, "I'm kind of worried." And Hamaguchi's like, "Why? What's wrong?" It's like, he's showing off so much. Like, I was gonna use some of these images, some of these mini games for the next trailer. I was like, "Oops."
Oh yeah. Oops. Oh, I know. That's so cool. Oh man.
But Hamaguchi, he wants to show it off, and he even admitted he's like nervous. Like, he's like, "Hey, this is a special build that we got prepared, but it's not the final product." He's like, he's really nervous. He's really nerved up. He's like, fans just understand that it's a special build. Like, it's a very old build, and it's like he wants to make sure people goes, "Hey, it's gonna have some issues, gonna have some texture problems, some pop-ins," but he's confident. Like, yeah, sure, there's pop-ins. I even called Blitz out for this. It's like, dude, you cut down the pop-ins. Like, you should try Elden Ring on PS5. Like, there's pop-ins everywhere. When you travel in the world on your horseback, it pops in the grass and stuff like that.
Oh right, yeah. I mean,
it pops in, and people don't complain about that. That game got a 96 rating. Like, From Software, they're good at gameplay, right? They're good at gameplay and that kind of stuff. The technical side stuff, they're not wizards. Blue Point is.
Yeah, I think any game that's, no matter how polished it is, you're gonna have stuff like that. It's just gonna happen. Like, it doesn't really affect me,
right?
The feeling of the game,
Yeah, it's like I look at it this way. Yes, it's an old build, right? It's an old build. It's got textured pop-ins, but when they did any of these quests, did the quest fail? Like, did a game crash? Did we see any game-breaking bugs or glitches? No. Like, yes, there's some bugs in the game. Like, they even said we're still debugging and still fixing the glitches in the game, total game, for the last 5 months. We're in the final stretch now.
Yeah, and
it's like during that whole 30-minute segment, I had not once saw a bug or glitch. It's like, ooh, this game's gonna crash any moment. No, I never did.
Right. It's all from an older build too, and even the Junon and the Nibelheim sections.
Yeah, and the character models, like, and people's like, oh, it looks just like remakes graphics. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, the character models look significantly better than remake. Like, if you put Cloud side by side in-game cutscene from remake or even integrate to Rebirth, he looks significantly better.
Oh yeah, everything about the lighting and the texture, the hair, and
even people complain about the lighting. It's like, the lighting's fine. Sure, they'll upgrade it. They'll polish it up more. Like, they got an excellent lighting team. You guys seen Rebirth? Have you seen integrated lighting system? Like,
that's amazing.
Me and Max Dude are like twins on that. Like, the lighting in that game is like almost like movie quality. It's like, holy crap.
Yeah, just even recently playing the Yuffie DLC, like the secret materia factory that they're in. Yeah. Like, the way the light comes off the fans and everything in there, it's just so cool. Like,
it's sick. Like,
it's so crazy.
It's like give the lighting crew a raise.
Yeah. No kidding.
And yes, there's some people complaining about, oh, they're not using Unreal Engine 5. Like, yeah, that's because Unreal Engine 5 is some games already, but the Unreal Engine 5 ain't perfected yet. It's still got a lot of bugs. It's still got a lot of cleanup to do. Square's not ready to commit yet. What they did is they probably took like the latest Unreal Engine 4 and they customized it to fit the Rebirth build. And look what we're getting.
Yeah. Oh man, it's and you can tell they've worked on the engine of their customized engines for so long.
Yeah.
That what they're able to pump out is crazy. Like, and I tweeted about this, I think, like a week ago saying like, I think we're gonna get part 3 like even sooner.
Yeah, right now they got the first draft done. I mean, they can start working on development now if they want to. They can finalize the draft anytime.
Right.
But they're just kind of just waiting to see how. When we all get the game, we beat it in like a week or two. We all have our reactions and probably videos about how we thought about it. They're gonna look at all those. So they're not gonna like develop. Like they're in the development stage probably now. They probably just started development. Like the world's done. Like the only thing they gotta build is probably Wu-Tai. They gotta build a Wu-Tai continent and maybe upgrade a few things for part 3.
Right.
But like.
But in terms of like the main couple continents, I mean, those are already done.
Yeah, they're already done, and they're revisitable. Even Midgar's done. I just go, pop it back in. Guess what? Zax and Midgar. Midgar's available to play in.
Yeah, I mean that's all the groundwork is already done.
Yeah, the groundwork's done. They just build upon it. They're building their house. Part 3 is the roof.
And I think people don't need to worry about any kind of story changes from fans, because I think what they meant from the interviews is like they want gameplay mechanic feedback.
Right. They want to see what they can do to fix it. Like how's people did people like the synergy? Is there anything we can improve upon that? You know, make some changes on that. Like people complain about Yuffie's shorts being unbuttoned. So what they do is they put a belt on her. Her shorts are buttoned up. Now her sleeve, if you play the Yuffie DLC, it's just a cloth, right? A big old cloth. Now in Rebirth, it's a metal plated armor now.
Oh yeah, it's like a whole different.
It looks great. Now they got rid of the yellow ribbon. People's like, why do you get rid of the yellow ribbon that's tied for her shoulder? They got rid of that. That's all. It's like it's customized. You know, it's just cosmetic. Her character's still there.
Thing. Yeah, and it can return later. You know.
It's just like Cloud's hair is a little different. You know, they changed the spikiness a little bit. He still looks like Cloud. He looks even better.
Yeah. There's going to be slight changes to the character models even going into part 3.
Yeah.
From
now, the only thing I'm kind of still shaking my head at a little bit is like, using the power of the PS5 and your character models look this good in-game cutscene. Why are we still using CGI and like the observatory? Unless it's like, I guess it's some way. I guess it's probably a little bit cheaper to go with the pre-render background, the pre-renders.
Yeah, I think with some of the stuff like that, and even with even in remake, I could understand why they went CG with that, just because the way the camera is moving and all that, like they're literally looking at a hologram of like a scene, so it's like the quick movement of it would probably.
So I wonder if they can like clean up the CGI models, maybe make it. There's still CGI pre-render, but like they can make it a lot more closer, like the in-game cutscene. That way, it's not so jarring. Because the second trailer they showed like that CGI. I'm like, they're still using CGI on the PS5, like.
Oh right.
I mean, some games still do have CGI in PS5, but like most of it's in-game.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 16 only had one CGI scene. It's during the ship war between you and Barnabas.
Oh, right.
That was in CGI. That was the only CGI. They said that's the only 5% of the game is CGI. The rest of it is
so crazy.
In-game cutscene. Yeah. You're like, whoa. Like, really?
Yeah. I'm still of the mind of like, you know, one or two scenes here. If it's just like they have to do it for the Cosmo Canyon Observatory sequence where they gotta view the planets and stuff like that. That's fine, as long as it's not jarring. Like the character models are like way different. Go whoa, like hang on. It might be a thing where it's just like it's just maybe too complicated of how they want the choreography and the shot to look like to do it.
Let's say do pre-render,
in the pre-rendered, unless they do it pre-rendered, So,
which that's understandable. I mean, you don't if you try to do it if you try to do it in game, like then you'd be like, this is gonna look rough, even on PS5, like.
Right, and that scene in the simulator in remake, the Shinra building, that is so amazing looking. Like,
that blew me away. Like that's the first time you realize that's the first time we got to look at the Cetra the ancients. That's the first time we got backstory on them, other than like we know that they fought Genova thousands of years ago or 1,000 years ago or something like that. Like,
yeah, this is the first time we actually see
we got lore. We got to see what they look like, how they live their lives, like
their village.
If you watch all the reactions to that, everybody's like, "What the?" It's like
they're like, "What is that?" Yeah.
And then as soon as you're mesmerized by that, then Sephiroth comes on board. It's like,
that was
what is going on? Like, holy, it's like, and like he's teasing that he's killing like Barrett and Tifa. Of course, he stabs Barrett, so that's why everybody's like, "Hey, wait a minute." He's teasing he's killing Tifa and Barrett in front of Cloud. He's done that. He stabbed Barrett in front of Cloud. What if all this personation stuff and all that? What if Sephiroth is teasing Cloud, say, "Yeah, I'm going after Tifa next."
Right. Oh man, yeah, because she was like laying on the ground, and he went to go grab her, and she like disappeared and turned around, and there Sephiroth was.
Yeah, and like the back-to-back shot with Meteor. So sick. That's like the best. That's like the best CGI, other than like the very opening of Remake.
Yeah, yeah. That's such a cool detail in Remake, is that the more time that the party spends with Aerith, everyone is now seeing Sephiroth in all those crazy visions.
Yeah, it's like because the only one can solve Sephiroth at the beginning was Cloud, right? He's the only one for a while. Then like, let's see, who saw Sephiroth next? It was
Aerith. Aerith was the first one to see him, because in the Hojo's laboratory.
Yeah.
Where he shows up on that little bridge area.
Oh yeah, she sees. Yeah, everybody ends up seeing her then, seeing him.
Yeah, everyone on the party could see him at that point. But that's so cool that the simulator scene, where after they show the meteor hitting and everything, and Tifa's like, "What was that? Did everyone see that?" Like, it's just, she was kind of like
trying to figure, like, the part they didn't see. They only saw the meteor part. They didn't see this part where Sephiroth killed him.
Right. No,
only Cloud witnessed that part. The only part that Tifa and Barrett witnessed was like the meteor coming down on the.
Yeah, the meteor and the little red tornadoes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're gonna see more themes with Cloud and Sephiroth. It's gonna be amazing. Roach is gonna be there. We haven't seen any Naya nor Hera of him yet. Sid is confirmed. We're gonna probably see more of Vincent in the next trailers too. Like, they just gave us a little tease. I would not be shocked if the next trailer is another 3 to 4 minutes. It's gonna be story heavy this time. They showed us a couple of gameplay.
I think so.
Yeah, they showed us a lot of gameplay stuff. Now it's time for another juicy story trailer, and it's gonna be my last one. Then the launch trailer, I'm not watching.
Yeah, me too. I'm out. I'm gonna be out for that, because I remember I purposely skipped it for Remake, and I'm glad I did, because the first thing I did after I beat Remake was watch the launch trailer, and I was like, "Oh my god, they're showing like end cutscene and like holy."
Yeah, they're showing Nash, showing Barrett get stabbed. They're showing like Rufus taking off with a helicopter. They show a Hell House fight.
It's like I'm so glad I'm gonna be dodging that one for sure.
Yeah, the launch trailer for sure, but the next trailer I'll watch. I'll probably go on media blackout for now. But after that,
there'll probably be Game Awards. Actually.
Yeah, Game Award for the trailer, which should be December. Then probably January, late January, early February will be the demo. Whatever demo they're gonna give us, either give us like they'll give us like the open world demo. Maybe we just do like what they show for a half hour. Maybe it's just be the two. Maybe just be the two demos, right?
That's what I'm thinking too. Like, maybe it'll just be the two demos from TGS, maybe updated a little bit. So
that's what I'm thinking. So yeah, lots to look forward to. We covered a lot. I think we're all caught up now. There might be some little bit of details we didn't cover.
Yeah, we did pretty good, I think.
So yeah, until next time, guys. This is gonna be the final FF7 Rebirth podcast number 1. Little sequence here. Thank you guys for watching this. Hope you guys stay through it till almost a 3-hour marker. Wow, we've been at it for a while. But it's been fun. I had a lot of fun discussion with you, man. Thank you for joining me.
It was a lot to thanks for having me on, and it was fun getting all that out of my system.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Crazy.
Like this, we probably could talk another hour and a half, 2 hours, but yeah, we don't want to make it too long for you guys. I think 3 hours is enough. But yeah, we got off our chest. Next time we get information, next time we get a trailer, I'll be doing another Final Fantasy VII Rebirth podcast number 2. We'll see what kind of guests I'll have. I'll probably bring you back on again. It's been fun.
Yeah,
good to talk to some people. Maybe I'll get more people to join. Sorry for you really cool. European, Asians, and all that. You guys can't join at this hour. But hey, it's on the YouTube channel. I'll probably upload this tomorrow. I need to get some sleep, so it's like got a busy day. I gotta get some wood pellets for a wood pellet stove. We're getting like 4 tons to be ready for the winter.
Nice.
We got a lot of stuff to do tomorrow. So it's like, today. Yeah. Sorry, the next day already.
That's kind of the advantage of my job is I don't work until the afternoon, so I get to stay up.
That's cool. I'm glad you're able to do this because that'd be fun.
Absolutely.
Anyways, you guys on YouTube, I thank you guys for joining me watching this video, this podcast. Hope you guys enjoy it. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Is there anything that we missed that you guys want us to cover next time? I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about Rebirth. I know it's a lot of hype. Are there any like questions that you guys have for the game? Like, are you still worried about the story? Is the combat too confusing? Is it like too much for you to handle? I'd like to see what kind of like some not negatives but kind of worries you guys have for Rebirth. What you guys are kind of like hyped for the most. For me, it's just exploring the world. The story's gonna be fine. Characters, I love them. Silliness, funny, love them to death. It's just exploring this world, man. It's like. Just like
earlier this week, I just posted that screenshot of the grasslands, and I'm like, I just want to move here and live. I want to move here.
Yeah, pet the chocobo, feed him those little greens, and
put some armor on him.
Oh yeah, it's just we didn't cover that, like the armor and stuff for that. I wonder what kind of like crazy armors we can have. Maybe like spiked armor or something like that, like gothic.
Oh my gosh, that's gonna be so insane. Yeah,
you can color them like any color you want. Like, I might make it like a blue and orange like armor for my chocobo because my channel is blue and orange, which I really love.
Oh boy,
I'm excited. I can't wait for more of this game.
Fancy. Well, thanks guys, and thanks for having me on again.
Yeah, for sure. So with that said, like, subscribe, share with a friend, and I will be back for more Final Fantasy VII Rebirth news, updates, reactions, what have you. With that said, thank you guys for love and support as always. Be safe out there. Be nice to each other. I'll talk to you guys on the next one. Take care.